What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Series E. My name is Jason. I will be your host for today, and it is day 2 of our Series E qualifiers. Our action was great to start off the week, and plenty more coming. For those of you that are new, I just kind of want to break down exactly how Series E works, okay? Series E is a professional Apex Legends open circuit that absolutely anyone can join. We have players who make it in through our qualifiers. They are then drafted and signed by our 9 partnered brands. They then make $750 a month salary, as well as compete weekly for points and prize money every Tuesday night against other open qualifier squads, and then every Wednesday against some of the top pros across North America and Europe. Now, with it being qualifiers right now, we have 5 teams that have qualified for Season 3 through their results in Season 2 of Series E, and we will decide our final 4 with our qualifiers today and next week. If you and your squad want to get in on the action, there is still time to do so. Make sure to head over to matcherino.com/ESA for a shot at being a future Series E Pro. Now, before we get into the action really quick, I do want to kind of recap and talk about what we saw on Tuesday night, So we started off our first day of qualifiers. I have our standings here behind me on how things shook out. Team XOXO popped off. They won 2 games on the night, finished up top with 57 points. Meanwhile, Dudes Line Out was a squad who started really rough early on. Did not have a great start to the day in terms of once they got into that finals lobby, but were able to finish strong, finishing just 4 points behind Team XOXO. I do want to have a couple of clarifications for you folks at home. If you missed Tuesday night, or maybe you saw some of that happened, Legacy MX, We Know Joker, as well as Team Ego will no longer be competing. I believe there was a bit of a clerical error, and we did have to clarify that this is a US only event. So sadly, with those teams being based outside of the US, they no longer will be able to compete. We certainly appreciate their passion and their effort in coming out to try and compete in Series E, but we will no longer be seeing those 3 teams. But there still are plenty more to keep an eye on. Team Superior is certainly one that had a bit of a disappointing performance, to be honest. They finished 2nd in their lobby in the qualifying round. That is a squad made up of former Team Cheez-It members. It's Rakanishu, Prodigy Aces, and Joey Blackout. And certainly coming into this lobby and finishing on the right side of this leaderboard is not the kind of performance that they are looking to have. So they need to keep things rolling, get kind of back into their form here tonight. So Team Superior is a team I'm keeping an eye on to try and have a bounce back performance here tonight. Meanwhile, Anime Freaks started a little rough, were able to win a game, but still only finished with 25 points themselves. That team does include former Team Nestle Splash member Bambino. They at least were able to rack up some points late in the day, but they do need to get things rolling. Other teams to certainly keep an eye out for: 2 Brains, 1 Controller with just 24 points, bit of a rough day for them. And Harbingers, in my opinion, is one of the dark horses to actually qualify for next season. While they didn't finish in that top 5, 34 points for them puts them just outside of that ranking, and I was actually really impressed with the play that I saw from them on Tuesday. So keep an eye on Harbingers. Plenty of other squads to watch out for. 6XZs will be back in it tonight, so tons of action to follow. But I'm not going to waste your time anymore, folks. We've got Series E ready to go. It's day 2 of our qualifiers for Season 3. Let's get into the fun.
Series E.
Series E.
Series E. Apex Legends.
Apex Legends.
Series E.
Series E Apex Legends.
Series E Apex Legends starts right now. Welcome everybody to day 2 of qualifiers here for Season 3. I'm Jamerson, joined today by Vicky Kitty. Vicky, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm really excited to see how these qualifiers play out, especially after the action that we watched on Tuesday.
Yeah, we do have to mention, of course, like Yeso said, that we do have a change in the format tonight. It's only going to be 4 matches played out, which drives home a narrative that we were building on Tuesday, which was that, you know, these competitors are used to playing about 6 matches every night, but now we're only going to have 4 matches. And so that comes to really crunch the squads that need to really figure out how they're going to be playing in the day.
Yeah, it's going to be intense because you know that that six match could really make a difference for a lot of these teams to make those adjustments. But now, not only do we not have 5 matches, we have 6 games instead. Sorry, rather 4 games instead that are going to be played tonight.
Yeah, we also have $1,000 on the line. So not only, of course, are you looking at the long goal of securing yourself a spot in Season 3 of Series E, but $700 going to first place, $300 going to second place. And now, of course, the scoring, that's the only thing that doesn't change here, where the placements matter. First place will get you 12 points, all the way down to 15th, getting you 1. And of course, every single kill point will matter as well. We got to see some teams absolutely pop off and try to change up, and other teams that try to change things up. In particular, we were looking at 2 Brains, 1 Controller, who it doesn't seem like they're actually competing tonight, or I don't know, maybe they had a bad day throughout the qualifiers, but we were saying that, you know, a lot of these squads, especially some of the more experienced squads, can take this opportunity to try and just farm up the lobbies and earn a lot of their points off of kill points themselves.
Yeah, I'm actually glad that you brought up that team because I know I had my eyes set up on that team, especially on Tuesday. But, you know, a lot of changes coming in. And so a lot of familiar faces that we're seeing tonight, but also a lot of unfamiliar faces that are going to have the opportunity to make their way into qualifying.
Yeah, one squad that I was definitely happy to watch perform fairly well was WHO, but Dudes Night Out making a case for themselves as well, having multiple great finishes, just were never really able to finish it off. I believe it was like a 2nd and a 3rd place in a row in the 4th and 5th games, and that could have been the difference maker for them, I believe, who were only a few points off from getting that first place spot, like 3 points or something like that. So Dudes Night Out, definitely a team to watch out for. And other names, I mean, there are still a lot of names here that we do have to mention, of course, like Yeso mentioned, Anime Freaks, we're definitely keeping an eye on them. Nicolas Cage match. So many players here that, you know, have competed in our open nights and I've seen in the past in competitive Apex Legends. So I'm glad that we get to have this opportunity to highlight them.
Yeah, you know, another team that I had actually considered was Obey Alliance, but we saw that they fell a bit short on Tuesday earlier on. You know, those top 4 teams that we saw make it out on Tuesday, we're seeing some changes coming in going in today. But Jamerson, I'm curious, what teams do you think could have made some of those different changes to do a lot better today, especially with the action that we saw start off earlier this week?
Well, definitely, I would say if 2 Brains, 1 Controller were in here, I would say them. But right now, I'm looking more towards Obey Alliance, or I guess CHR, Crook, Hambino, and Ronnie, where Ronnie now has been consistently playing on squads that have been trying to run the Caustic here. And we saw how strong the Caustic can be, but I feel like their strengths might lie elsewhere, trying to get into those early game, mid-game fights.
And something that I actually considered going into the qualifiers and seeing a lot of the compositions that we're going to be seeing from these teams is how the ALGS could potentially be affecting a lot of the mindset that we're seeing from these players and some of the things that they want to try out within their own team composition.
Here we go, heading into game number 1. Now we are going to be joining on board with our number 1 leaders overall in the qualifiers here with 57 points overall, I believe. It's going to be Team XOXO. They've been able to get this drop over at Frag East uncontested. We know how strong this spot can be, especially here on World's Edge. Playing for any zone, really, as long as you're fast enough on the looting.
Yeah, you can already see the way that they get the beacon right there, starting things off and playing a lot more beacon friendly here and having that Gibby shield to make sure that you can scan that pretty safely, which is funny because, you know, I'm just Gibby that's playing the Bloodhound instead. Already, though, Turns is going to be able to scout up ahead, taking some of that damage. We're probably just stimming away and trying to find out if any of the other squads had landed within the area. They're already making their rotations here, though, Jamerson.
Yeah, here we are on board with CHR, who it does seem like they have been contested. They're going for a split, quite possibly. It's a little bit hard to tell, but Ambino had one ahead of him, and he says, you know, this is going to be his loot, not yours, and just bullies him off of that. And that's great because he does pick up that R99 for himself. There's even gold sniper stock if you want it, but at this point, you have to start considering where is this ring going to go. FMS down by Dome are actually in a fight right now. It seems like 2 players underneath Maul is here, and Finicky is caught out by himself. He does back away. Now they do have roof access and roof control, and so at some point they have to go down for it, but they're fighting up against better armors. The purple on that player before he peeks back on down. Finicky hits for flash, and now Mollis needs to get in here. Blue armor on the other side as well, and they have not traded yet. Enemy goes, the one that picks that one up as Mollis backs off. Silenced is golden, has not healed up his shield quite yet. They just allowed this squad to come out of the building completely uncontested. Now Mollis does have to back away. He's got that jump pad. He has almost no HP to his name either, and ECG are ready to hunt him down. That's going to be CHR just falling early on. We're down to 19 squads, 57 players remaining.
Jamerson, you opened that up perfectly. Just the fact of the intimidation from the better armor really is what made it in for that team. ECG taking full advantage of that, getting some KP under their belt, and of course, now building into even better armors from those blue armors of purple. You already see Pistillo, who was able to take full control over that top building despite having that advantage. Unfortunately, that team's going to fall. You could currently see 6XZs, though, going to be able to rotate off to the side of Skyhook, and already trying to find where they could see where the opposing team is going to be, because I believe we had seen another team already land in Skyhook when we had saw the other Octane stim around to scout up ahead.
They might have had a bad drop here. As you can see, they're still sitting on the white armors, about to get sandwiched. The Absolute Monarchy was actually coming around. They're about to run into a team inside Skyhook right now. We do have the ring pulling down over towards Sorting Factory. As you can see, a lot of teams starting to make their way on over here. And so you're going to want to get a priority position for the time being. Let's go ahead and swap back on over, quite possibly, to 6XZs, who might be getting into a fight. It's Dude's nights out that we're on board with, as here we go, 6XZs trying to find some better loot. They at least upgrade their blue armor here and do have pings down. Don't know if they spotted out an enemy or not, but no engagement quite yet, but they are definitely getting upgrades on their loot. No competition though, down here by Thermal, getting into a fight now. Bubble has been used as Moose of the Man starts backing off. With that Beast in the Hunt popped, he will throw down a scan for himself, and the bubble has been used as well. By that Gibraltar, it's a full push out from this squad, and oh no, the bubble fighting is a little bit difficult, but they do pick up two. That's gonna be great. Sword and Davis Wave going down. Vize, WHO, wiped off the face of the map. We're down to 18 squads.
Yeah, no competition, though. They're getting shot from behind. It's going to be Ziploc bags that are making their way over from the side by tree, and that's going to be crucial because now they're actually denying the looting going in, and they're still finding some of these hits. They're going to be more respectful, though, especially with that Volt coming out. It's going to be Navlo who wants to bring this fight a lot more close quarters, and you can already see the way that they're backing off. They don't want to be caught off guard to any of the rotating teams over to the side.
Yeah, they're sitting on white armors themselves, pushing across. It's really two easy headshots from most any gun. It'll bring you down to flesh, and so they're going to go ahead and play for position instead, as they have their eyes set on Sorting Factory now. We'll just go ahead and drop down. And it's all about trying to find a decent spot that you'll have a great vantage point to try and shoot and poke at teams and get your armors evolved up.
Although you can see they know where the next circle is going to be, so Ziploc Bag's also taking control over those beacons, making sure that they kind of prioritize their rotations instead, maybe making their way over to that care package that they just saw land right across. But that's another team who actually opened it up, and they got scanned immediately, so they wanted to make sure to cover their bases right before they committed to getting this care package. But the high ground goes over to that team that contested their care package rather, and it's going to be Ziploc bags that are going to respect this again because they know that there's a team right behind them too, so if they actually try to commit here, they could be called out into a really bad position and get sandwiched.
Yeah, it seems like they're just going to back away, quite possibly over to the fence's position and just hold it down there. Right now on board with Anime Freaks, who are holding the office on the southwest side of Sorting Factory, and this is just a very passive position. Don't really typically see the ring pulling over in this way. We'll see, though, there's a small possibility it goes down and hugs super far south over towards launch site. But they can still play here from the edges, try to play for the kill points if they so want to. I mean, they already have some pretty decent armors. The purple on Pyramid, we got Ultimate and has that blue for himself. But it's ECG in another fight. Z Davis picks up two. An enemy go is the only one left alive. It looks like the rest of the squad will get finished off instantly there. Defensive bombardment just to cover his retreat, but they're already on his tail. Z Davis and Exile picking that one up. Team Skirt with 3 kills now. Do have the port just to get back up onto the high ground here, just in case. Wow, just like that. Surprising how quickly that fight ended.
Yeah, and it needed to end quickly too, because you know you already saw how they took the portal to come right back to make sure that they're not caught out of position on that low ground instead. And now they got some equipment. But talking about equipment, it's Team XOXO, our leading team now, who has been able to get some KP already, utilizing these Gibby shields and now making sure that they can pop the PK up in these close quarter fights. And look at the way that they're diving in. There's that KP, and it's gonna be Turns who's gonna take all those 3 kills. The bombardment going out though is gonna force XOXO to retreat right back in. But I'm just, Gibby has no shields. Hopefully he could pop a battery right here before the third party pulls in.
And Turns is just one of those players that stands almost head and shoulders above a lot of this lobby right now, just in terms of that competitive experience himself. And he really showed it there, that PK and the bubble fighting timing there. But we have to keep talking about this fight here as Final Form try to come in for the third party. Swag King, Baines, and I cannot say that name. Let's just call him Da. I don't know. But they're gonna go ahead and peek out. There's a squad that looks like they're trying to take that beacon, which is super important here, of course, that third beacon, to really know where this ring's gonna pull down to.
Yeah, Da or AJ. I think we could, you know, AJ actually kind of rolls off the tongue right there.
I like
If
AJ.
anything,
I like
Final
AJ.
Form. Yeah, I like AJ too. But Final Form, they do have these blue Evo shields here, Jamerson, but is it enough? I mean, we just saw the point of view of that other team that's hanging out right now over to the side, and they do have better armors to work with. I believe the double gold armors, unless, you know, this team may, you know, want to be a lot more patient. They do have a line of sight, it seems like, and they're kind of trying to hold position more than anything, but they don't know where the next circle is going to be, as it doesn't seem like they've scanned the beacon just yet.
Importantly, if they're able to get the information that they're running a, they are running a Bangalore there. They don't have a defensive ability other than possibly the bubble. They can full push on that one, but we're just joining on board now with Menaces for Society, who have made their way into Sorting Factory here, and this is one of the great things about having the Valkyrie on your team, giving you that extra verticality here. Of course, you have to remember that there are Octanes in the lobby as well, so this is a spot that can be challenged.
It could get compromised too, especially when you have one of their teammates having that white Evo shield, although, you know, not part of the purple Evo club, unfortunately. Meanwhile, though, Harbingers, they're going to hold this position. They do have the high ground over this Gibby bubble that we're seeing. They're hiding over to the small cart over to the side, but they seem like they're sandwiched, and this is not the canyon bottom that you want to find yourself in, but this bombardment actually may force out Anime Freaks. It's going to force a time out of them, because now they're forced to heal, and with the shield cells, this is enough information to let us know here the Anime Freaks may be low on these meds that they need.
It's just going to be a lot of poking and prodding out from Anime Freaks. Under no real pressure to move quite yet. There's still another 40 seconds before this zone even starts closing. They're safely in the ring for now. It's all about holding this position. Unfortunately for them, yeah, they missed out on a lot of the KP that came this way as teams were making their rotate from the western side. And that's would have been one of the strengths of playing this building here, being able to gatekeep to the west. But for now, it's just going to be a lot of neutral for them, as it's down to 20 seconds before the zone starts closing here. I actually just noticed that we've got Synced and Wicked in here. I didn't even see those names on the list, and maybe I just missed it on the when we saw the graphic earlier on, but now I'm super excited.
Yeah, there's a lot of familiar names that we get to see really duke it out, especially against those unknown players that could come out of left field. Bambino, though, gets hit pretty hard, loses a shield, forced to back off, but they're covering both situations here. You can see, you know, the rest of Bambino's teammates looking right behind. He has the scan and the Beast of the Hunt, too, so it really trickles down to enough of this intel that they have. They see, you know, we see the team, rather, over to the side of the cart. We see an Arc Star blow up, and with this triple take at the ready, that was Anime Freaks who were able to get that care package that we saw earlier, and that was the gun that was able to get back into Bambino's hands. Unfortunately misses the tracking shot, but it does force out that Gibby bubble so that way they can get right back to the rest of their team safely.
All right, zone closing in now. Another drop coming out, not too far away itself. They might be able to double dip and get this one as well. We'll see if they turn their focus onto that one. Again, the issue with playing this spot is that you have teams that are coming in from the western side. They already have confirmation that there are teams over there. There's even, yeah, we got Tempest, Wicked, and Synced. Actually, this team is absolutely nuts. So I'm super excited for this one. They've picked up a number of kill points for themselves, I believe. Synced and Wicked, or at least one. Okay, I thought there was 2 on the kill feed, but it might have just been a thirst here. They're just going to go ahead and control the high ground bridge. It's going to be difficult to push down into this cart. They've got the full 3-man there, but if a squad's going to do it, it should be this squad.
Yeah, they definitely need it too, especially level up these Evo shields. You can see Tempest holding onto that blue. They're not able to really do too much. We're talking about a lot though. It's going to be Skirt having 3 kills, being the kill leader, and putting on some good damage over from afar with the flatline. Meanwhile though, you have Helping making his way in, trying to get close quarters, get some intel, but forced to phase away after that bombardment was called. Skirt now are going to hold over to the side building. It could be another squad maybe making their way over, but they want to safely do this rotation, and they have the portal at the ready just in case another squad's actually approaching from behind them.
Wow, this ring did end up pulling down here towards launch site, which is why that third ring can be absolutely crucial. Here's ODST trying to make a push inside Sorting Factory on the top of that banana building. He's trying to take a lot of damage here. Marcel's got to be careful. This could be a full-man peek as he does arc star that door to try and change up the angle, but he is still waiting on his squad to full heal up. So he needs to bide his time. He might have to just actually back away from this one. They have a minute to go, and they don't have to actually commit onto this fight. They know there's another squad not too far off looking for the third party. Better part of Valor is just, honestly, get the hell out of there.
Yeah, you have to just find a different way maybe to rotate. They are actually rotating the longer way, and I like this call a lot because they don't want to find themselves getting sandwiched, especially since they know where 2 squads currently are sitting and sorting. You have one already holding the high ground. They have a Valkyrie, and they have the Valkyrie ult, so even if they don't want to overcommit, they could just completely use that Valkyrie ult to just zoom out of there, get into a better position. So they're actually just opting to go for the long way. Now, meanwhile, as we take a look at Pickle's perspective, though, they do find that squad that's hanging out over to that side room that was overlooking Sorting Factory, and you're gonna see Pickles. They're sitting pretty comfortably here at the edge of circle, and they don't really have to worry too much about their backs once the circle closes in 20 seconds.
Yeah, Boney, Tony, you got Icy River and Sycophantic right now, all sitting on blue armors. Icy River is fairly close, but it's a full 3-man coming up from behind. It's 6xZ's coming in. Instant 3-2-1 onto Icy River, taking him out. EMP as well to slow them down, getting rid of their shields. Q used now by Boney Tony, but they are in a world of trouble. They've dropped down to the low. Their players already been thirsted as well, and that team that's playing in that launch site office is peeking down on them here. It's going to be Anime Freaks shooting down over here at Sorting Factory onto another full squad. Tempest, Synced, and Wicked are going to get finished off. We've hit the top 15 as another squad goes down. Obey picked that one up. Pyramid took a lot of damage there, and he's going to use that bubble. So Bambino's going to hold the high ground and just wait this one out.
The theme of these last 2 fights that we've seen so far, Jamerson, is holding that high ground and holding your position, and don't go overextend to finalize these picks. You can see the pressure coming in just by looking through these little gaps, and it's going to be Bambino who wants a lot of this armor. You can see potentially going for that armor swap already and being able to get a lot of these tools that he needs to proceed on with the rest of his team holding on to that high ground position to cover his back.
Still on board with now Menaces for Society. This is a squad that we saw earlier on, taking this high ground position with that ultimate. It looks like they might go for the redeploy in just a moment. We'll see, though. There's a minute 25. It's going to be difficult now. There are not too many spots to actually try and take. There's a full 3-man below them. As now, Nick Cage Match actually pushing into this cart here. Bubble's already been used as they're trying to infiltrate now. Hipfire shots finally connecting there as Oi Senpai follows up onto Shirosuke with that Mastiff. And so with that first knock, they should be able to clean up this team, but I don't even know where the hell the rest of them went. Shirosuke will go down as they do pick up these armors and will have the swaps for themselves, and they are safely within the ring.
This position scares me though a little bit, Jamerson. Probably from my own PTSD from playing in this situation, but the bombardment of the amount of grenades that could be tossed over to the side of the windows. I love the way that Nick Cage Match actually played that because they were able to actually spit a lot of that focus. But here comes another squad actually trying to get back into the action themselves. But luckily, Senpai actually had positioning there to try to hold them back. He takes some damage here. He's trying to buy some time so that way the rest of the Nick Cage Match team can actually loot properly.
Another kill going the way now over to ODST as they did find that rotation. This was the squad that we saw that were almost in some trouble over at Sorting Factory. Decided to just rotate out of that one, and now they're here on the south side of the zone. You can see Throwing will pull just to the east of that launch site building, and SeriesE are trying to make their entry here. And what a beautiful spray, Wizzy hitting for 120 or so onto that purple armor, but he has to back away as the third-party shots are coming out from the eastern side. With 38 seconds left to go, that bubble going down is absolutely crucial here. Boxa T might not have it at a more opportune moment. We'll use that defensive bombardment as well to cover that eastern side. They've got the jump pad down now. They're just gonna go ahead and full send it into the side alley here. And so we'll see how they can hold this position. It's gonna be very troublesome, but it looks like the team from the other side, from the east, will not push, and so they actually have one less angle to worry about.
SeriesE has some of the players that we've seen before. They have a lot of that experience, so opting to go over to the side and rotate, they utilize a lot of those tools, which could be absolutely crucial, like you made mention of. But Harbingers are holding onto this building, and having that caustic that we made note of earlier is crucial for holding them successfully. Although the EMP could potentially negate that and allow them to push in, but there's still a caustic trap that's on board, blocking the entrance from SeriesE's. And you can see that they're covering both angles to potentially make sure that this squad doesn't sneak their way behind them. Whereas they're not in circles, so they have to start getting moving, and they have to get moving soon.
That's just good discipline by the Caustic team there. You see the EMP, you instantly pop your barrels if you cannot pick them up. Nick Cage match. Yeah, might be in a spot of trouble here, running through the defensive bombardment, taking a lot of damage. Oi Senpai now cracked, has to pop that bat for himself. They do find a small corner to work off of, and as they do, they are scanned up. No team's pushing them quite yet. Looks like they have been able to stabilize, found a nice spot at the very least, but we'll see now as SeriesE's make their entry on in. Wizzy gets the first knock, then Musota goes down, and then they go for the full push through. They'll get another knock onto Clinical and chase down this last Caustic. Stuck in a corner, it's gonna be Lightstar Joe to fall, but they need to recover quickly. Here comes Nick Cage match with the third party, but oh boy, it's a 1-for-1 exchange. Now down to a 1v2. Nades is the only one left alive now for SeriesE's as Nick Cage match want to finish him off, but he's found a small corner to work off of as the gold back res comes out.
They don't know where he is just yet, but he went into the circle and he's gone, and that's gonna be a thick chunk of damage. Averson, round 5 now closing in. What a third party, and great timing on that from Nick Cage match. They saw the opportunity, but that's actually something that SeriesE's were actually trying to avoid there. That's why they were so patient with that approach, especially with the crypto EMP. Meanwhile, the ODST, they're trying to get some KP, and they successfully wiped the team in doing so. Now they're the ones that have to start rotating soon. Luckily, though, they're on the slower side of the circle, but they have to start moving because they're not in that circle safely. It's the bombardment now that comes down, and they've lost their Gibby. The res coming in and successfully keeps Tack up alive. No gold backpack though to stay in this fight, and with so much red Evo shields, this may do it in for these teams that are having to forcibly push their way into the circle. They're gonna get circle kept if they don't finish this fight fast.
And oh boy, they're just bleeding out here, barely on the edge. We'll see if Legit can get his squad members back on up, but it's gonna come down to this 1v1 here with the EVA 8 out. He is hitting for some decent shots. One more pellet might do it. No! He goes down, helping clutches up for Team Script, but here comes the full send out from this squad. Nick Cage match now pushing in. We'll be able to pick up all 3 kill points here. Now it's down to the final 2 squads in a 3v2. Nick Cage match versus Turns, who was actually rezzed back into this game, by the way. Stuck there on the low ground now. You can see Shitty PC's got the angle on him, hits for the 45, and the rest of the squad wants to push. Malice Mamba is there, but again, he needs to help out. Shitty PC is just doing all the damage here. They should be able to just drop and finish them off. But Nick Cage match still playing this one slowly. Want to make sure they have all the information here, not throw anything away. They've got some decent KP. They know they need to get the plus 12 from the placement points. There we go. Another great volley onto Malice Mamba, and he does go down. Turns is the only one left alive in the 1v3 as it's a full peek out. Nick Cage match will take the first win of the evening.
Wow, what a performance from Nick Cage match. They were perfectly at the right place at the right time, third partying in the most necessary situations. You even see at that second third party that we witnessed from them that they came in immediately when they saw that the squad count number had dropped. And so that was the perfect opportunity for them before they were able to commit to the res of the gold backpack that we saw that Wraith actually come out triumphant with in that fight. There was just not enough time in that situation. So really good showcase from Nick Cage.
Yep, that was game 1 of 4. We got 3 more left to go. So we're going to take a short break, and when we get back, we'll have game number 2 of the evening right after this.
Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on the plot and the scheme. The true walk is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. The memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Put the balls in the place. I'm talking one chance that was so close for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
Imagine you love frosting and filling.
I do love frosting and filling.
Oh, well, imagine if there was a way to enjoy that delicious goodness anywhere, anytime, out of the toaster, out of the box, out of one of those baggy thingies, with nothing but a thin layer of foil between you and...
Pasta.
Yes, Curtis. This is a commercial about pasta.
I love it.
Frosting and filling for your pasta.
I like pesto.
I wasn't born in the spotlight. Nah. Had to grind and shine like a star on a hot night. And something about the struggle now resides in my muscles. And every trial and trouble helped to hang my hustle. Real rock stars don't chase the spotlight. It chases them.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Yeso here after one game here on day 2 of our Season 3 Series E qualifiers. Welcome back. Hope you guys enjoyed the first game. Great finish there. Nick Cage match able to come out on top there over Team XOXO. We saw at the start of the day when we took a look at our standings from Tuesday that Team XOXO was sitting on top, and they continue their strong performance here. Not able to grab their third win of qualifiers, but still getting up into second place is certainly important for them. One team I do want to talk about, though, obviously the winners, Nick Cage match, and that was a team that I was honestly disappointed by with their performance on Tuesday. Oi Senpai coming in after being a new player in the middle of Season 2 of Series E. If you guys remember, he came in to Team Rockstar to try and revitalize that team, switch things up, and while he wasn't necessarily the best replacement, I think that certainly goes to Serial for Team Razor as the best roster swap from Season 2. I think Oi Senpai was actually very impressed with what he brought to the table. His stats weren't necessarily as impressive as some of the other members in Series E, but I thought he brought a new presence to that roster that was very good. So I had high expectations for Oi Senpai coming into qualifiers this time around. It was a rough performance, though, for that squad. They were on the right side of that leaderboard, which is not where you want to be on Tuesday. But Nick Cage match certainly starting off today a whole lot stronger. But as Jamerson and I talked about multiple different times on Tuesday night, it's not all about one performance anymore, right? With the shift in format for qualifiers this season as opposed to previous seasons, you can't just show up on a single day and make it into Series E. You have to have a consistent performance throughout the length of our qualifiers. And with still many more games remaining in our qualifiers, 3 more here today, we need to see Nick Cage match keeping things rolling. But with 11 kills and a first place finish here to start the day, that is a whopping 23 points for them, which is the start we saw from Team XOXO on Tuesday night. So great way to start the day, looking for more from Nick Cage match. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have game 2 of our qualifiers here for Series E Season 3.
Shake it, kiddo. Love Dad. Oh.
I've got this. Kellogg's Rice Krispies Treats. A little love when it's needed.
Kellogg's, Fruit Loops, Apple Jacks, Corn Pops, Tiger Paws.
Yep.
They're Jumbo.
Jumbo snacks, snack time heroes. Go take them on the go. Cereal, magnified, showing up for snacking time. Jumbo snacks, snack time heroes. Go take them on the go.
It's Jumbo. It's your snack hit. It's Jumbo Snacks.
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E as we're getting ready to head into match number 2. Remember, we're only playing 4 matches tonight, and that's the way it's going to be for the rest of the qualifiers. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Mobile One leaderboard to see exactly where all of our teams stack up before we head into our next game. As we had a number of teams actually popping off throughout different courses of that first game, a lot of kill points going around, but it was ultimately Nick Cage match who took the win, had 11 kills overall, and Team XOXO finding themselves in second place with 17 points.
Can we talk about the player development that we're seeing from Nick Cage match? Overall, this team, they weren't doing so hot earlier this week. Meanwhile, though, game number 1 of the second qualifiers, they came out and they came out in full force, making sure that they keep those 23 points in the pocket. Although Team XOXO, the team that has been able to be consistent so far, get that first place spot just earlier this week on Tuesday, is right behind them with 17 points. And Skirt, of course, the gap isn't too big so far, Jamerson, but that could easily change within this next game.
Yeah, I see a world, though, where this could have been a game 1 for Team XOXO. They did end up losing out on turns, had to get them back into the game. That delayed them a lot. You can see why they are so consistent so far. 17 points in the second game. Let's take a look at the Mobile One high performance moment of game number 1. And this was just where it was at, where all the action was taking place for basically the last moments of this game. Fight after fight, you can see Trinal going down here, and they're trying their best to stabilize off of this, but losing out on your Jibby when you need to rotate and you need to get the res, possibly the worst case scenario. You see the quick push out from Ult and the rest of the squad, and Trinal was never able to really recover. Neither was Marcel. He goes down and legit is brought down into this 1v1.
Wow, the way that repositioning just came out here and the phase just to get out of the situation, you could see legit actually trying to close out a lot of these KP for the rest of the team, but then having to split that focus onto this Wraith, but then the knockdown shields at the end of the day really coming out in full force, allowed Skirt to win that fight, get some extra KP right before Nick Cage match actually came in for the third party. They cleaned up themselves, and again, it's all about being there at the right place at the right time.
And just picking up all of the KP at the end, which is why, you know, we see like how the two styles have kind of developed in playing center zone and also playing on the edge, because oftentimes if you just make it to the late game, you'll get a lot of those kill points that you would have been hunting out for anyhow. But also if you are hunting early on, that could be the big 30-point game or so if you're able to continue that momentum. But that was just a beautiful execution on the finish there. Like I said, though, for Team XOXO, there was a world for them where they could have gotten the win. It was just unfortunate that they were delayed on their rotation because turns ultimately went down when they were trying to make their move across that valley, that treacherous valley.
Yeah, and that positioning too that you had Nick Cage team actually just stay on the high ground and being able to target focus where unfortunately Team XOXO had dropped to talk about that positioning and it was so crucial in that moment. Although they're not too far behind Nick Cage match, so they're still holding on to that second place. Let's see if they can make a difference though going into our game number 2. Once again, it's game number 2 out of 4 games that we're going to be having in total tonight. So we're already halfway through the night here, Jamerson.
Let's go ahead and join on board with Nick Cage match, which we saw. I believe they were playing on the northern side of World's Edge. When we first checked in with them, they were around Skyhook in that area, roughly, I believe. No, they are over here by yeah, at Countdown. So yeah, not too far off whatsoever. And so they're already starting off great. Season 1 wingman picking up that purple shield for himself. Shinny PC and Oi Senpai still sitting on the whites, but they've got double blues in the middle, and you can always count on that location basically in the center of Countdown to have some great armors for your team.
Yeah, especially making sure you get that right off of drop too. So as we get set up with a lot of this equipment, we saw how crucial it was in game 1, especially after we saw a fight commence in Dome. And what really made a difference there was those Evo shields. So as we get started, we start looting up the rest of Skyhook here. You currently have ODST now trying to make a comeback after yesterday's game, but Marcy already holding on to that purple Evo shield.
And we already have a look at the ring as well. It's going to be pulling up to the north side here. Could it be going over to Skyhook? If we're going to go ahead and pull up the map as these teams continue to loot to have a better idea of exactly what this circle looks like. But ODST, they had some great moments in that last game. They've got a squad ahead of them, actually. Trying to here's the footsteps, but he has the white armor, doesn't want to challenge, doesn't know how many's up there. So I like the call. Play this one a little bit more conservatively. They're already sitting in a pretty decent spot on the leaderboard here. No need to throw things away, especially when you're so close to finding a center spot position in the zone.
Yeah, you know, the way that TAC had just dipped from that spot, that was the best option they could have done right there, especially not knowing how many people were left onto that high ground. It's going to be Legit, though, who utilizes the scan over to the side to clear their rotations over to get themselves potentially out of Skyhook or actually round behind the team that they just noted are over to the right side. We already see some pinks coming out, though, right now, Jamerson, so they've already marked down where this squad is rotating from.
Yeah, to cut them off at the pass as well, just have the high ground and make it more difficult for this fight. But it looks like they will make it safely out of Skyhook here. No early fighting quite yet. We did see some in the last game. On board with Tempest, Wicked, and Synced. Going to be playing over here at Frag West, so not too far away from Team XOXO. They're going to use this opportunity now just to go for the crafting. Marcel did go for a peek and did spot one out. Took a little bit of damage now, but looks like they're just going to go ahead and hold this choke point and have control over that sniper post.
Yeah, look at the position that they're set up too, especially since they know where the next circle is. They're actually going to try to maintain a better positioning over this team that they know could potentially be rotating away from Skyhook. But giving up the circle, actually opting to get on the high ground closer to the train tracks here. I'm not too sure if they're just trying to scout around or if they're actually, they're actually opting to go for a longer rotation, get better loot. It looks like they didn't like the fact that they had that fight behind them because of their evil shields, but they may be forced to fight anyways. Luckily, with some intel and after landing some of those bullets, they know this opposing team also has some white shields that they could work with.
Well, they are coming in from one angle here, and they do have, it looks like the crossfire being set up by the other squad, forced out of position by that Arc Star. Legit, it's trying to buy some space for his squad. They will be able to back away, but you're seeing Skip being forced out early from Legit, and he should be able to recover, but it's, will this other squad in Skyhook start pressuring them? And they will. Dome coming out now. ODST stuck in the middle of two squads. EMP on top of them. Looks like Marcel has been stunned up as well. Boxity will go ahead and pick that one up, and they are in a sandwich between 6XZs and Absolute Monarchy. As a second one will fall, so ODST now down to just a solo. They've used all of their cooldowns as well. They should be finished off very shortly.
I'm so sad that this is the outcome that ended up with that rotation. If they held that sniper tower, felt more confident in just rotating over to the side instead, they would have avoided the sandwich situation. Meanwhile, though, Absolute Monarchy finding themselves in another fight, coming in from the other side here, they're forced to use the Gibby bubble, but so many grenades coming out. Luckily, do have that dome to retreat to, but at what cost here, Jamerson? Now rotating with the portal, they're going to reposition as Sir Lifty actually is going to be able to pop that shield cell to get right back into this fight.
Yeah, it's all about positioning here. Both squads trying to outmaneuver the other here, but Sleepy Panda setting up that angle with that port will be able to go back to the right-hand side while Lifty takes the roof. He does take some damage here. He needs help of his squad. No shots landing from Sleepy Panda there. Now he's down to 10 HP, will back away, but 6xZs comes in from the flank to go for the third party. It's Demon Mode Sushi that cleans up Sleepy Panda. An absolute monarchy in absolute shambles here as Lifty is the only one left alive. He's going to try his best to hold it down, but he will fall. Now, Stick Drift OP, they did lose out on one throughout all of that, and we'll see if 6xZs try to get very aggressive off of this, and they're trying to posture up, but stuck in the corner there as the armor swaps do come out, and Ronnie now CHR showing up. So many squads converging on this fight now as we do have the scans coming out, giving away the position of CHR, but CHR giving them so much space to heal up. You can see the Gibby Dome being used as well. And now they're deciding to push up here, but so much time has been bought that, yeah, CHR have to call it here. They need to back away. The third parties are imminent, and so I like that they retreat off of this one.
Yeah, they didn't want to push their luck too hard there, especially since they realized that they were playing a lot more passively than maybe they would have liked. The Obey crew is going to just dip from this situation. Instead, you make note of that third party. We saw that play out in full force on those train tracks when unfortunately we saw that team drop down, give up the high ground, get sandwiched. We don't want a repetition of that now as we see Anime Freaks instead seeing the Gibby bombardment unleash outside, just outside their window, hoping that they're liking the view here as they are safely going to be able to retreat. But Bambino has the scan in 10 seconds, and they've got scanned instead. They do have Beast of the Hunt potentially, but gunfire coming in from the door could actually make this or break this with the other squad potentially trying to push in, because now they have the intel that Bambino has that White Evo shield.
Swag King taking on one. A lot of fighting taking place over here at Frag West. Over at Con now, as Moose of the Man tries to go for that challenge. Swag King gets taken out, and no competition. Get revenge for their fallen comrade here. As again, another 1v2 peak. Now Gibraltar shows up, and they hold it down. No competition will pick that one up, and because they are here at Con, I'll be able to get the instant res as well. We'll see if any other squads try to come in for the third party, but it looks like they might be safe to do so. CHR, though, finding themselves in another fight. You can see why so much fighting is taking place over here. It's looking like this is going, the circle should be ending over by the platform or just south outside of the tunnel exit there. CHR do have a team backed up literally in the corner now as they're trying to walk them down. Crook, he's got that caustic, he's got the Nox gas grenade, but this is zone 1, so the squads will just be able to run out and out heal the zone.
Yeah, they stayed there perfectly because they knew where that next zone was going to try to pull. They wanted to at least try to circle keep, but luckily there's a little bit of space, and it's round 1 to try to rotate out of the situation. With 2 minutes on board, though, before round 2 closes in, it's going to be CHR that are still holding on to this position. Luckily, they have Crook for some intel in case those gas traps actually activate behind them. So to try to actually avoid a third party coming in, they're trying to cut off some of those rotations that could otherwise meet their doom. But now as we get set up, those CHR, they're going to try to hold patiently over to the train tracks, and we're going to see Ziploc bags now instead hanging out here over onto Skyhook, and they still are trying to find out a position here. They have a good amount of materials here to work with, some equipment rather to say. Ziploc bags now on the low ground. Navlo taking some damage. Luckily he has that gold Evo, but he's forced out to use the shield after the bombardment was called in on them.
Yeah, Mass is pushed up. He needs the rest of his squad there, and it looks like Navalo will go ahead and join him. Yo-Yo Joe just holding the high ground now. Will throw in an Arc Star, and it's just going to be the redeploy coming out from that Valkyrie to get out of this troublesome spot. And we'll be able to get out safely here. And unfortunately, Ziploc bags were not fast enough on the trigger. Good call out to watch the flank as well, as another team was coming up from Countdown now. And we'll just be able to rejoin each other, heal up, and continue to move on through for the next ring.
Yeah, potentially just trying to opt for repositioning as a priority. They do know now that there's a squad behind them, but that squad maybe want to take a longer rotation. Meanwhile, though, in the world of Epicenter, we have Harbingers who are forced to hang out over to the side. Luckily, Nemusana does have that portal to try to rotate. It's safer, but they are going to give up that high ground because they see that they're getting pushed on. They've lost a lot of health. It's Stick Drift OP that are taking some damage. Demon Mode forced to pop these shield cells first to get right back into the action, but looking like they're split up a little bit as Demon Mode has to make his way right back to the rest of the Stick Drift team.
He will be relatively safe, and this is what we're seeing as well in terms of pacing for the games. It's the second ring. We're down to 17 squads, 50 players remaining. Really almost like classic Apex. But here's 6xZ's making a push now onto this squad. It should be the same squad that we saw in Skyhook earlier on with Navalo and co. Is now they are ready to make their push. Don't know if they have the bubble, and they do, and that allows them to get in. But a beautiful Arc Star onto Izzy as he's brought down to 20 HP, but they get the first knock. Skittle Cakes to go down, bringing this down to a 3v2 for themselves. Buying enough time for Wizzy to try and get that bat off. So the melee comes in. Oh wait, no, it's another squad. Ziploc bags, here they are. Come in to try and get the third party, and that is why it is so crucial you don't lose anyone throughout that fight. That scan gives up the game, though, and they know that another team is below them. And so Ziploc bags will not try to make a push off of this. They'll just back away for now. The troublesome part here is that this ring is going to start pulling away from them. They need to start making a play to go for that connector area or for the tunnel. But here's Harbingers in the middle of a fight. They're down to one. It's all up to Clinical here. Lightstar Joe, his gas is still putting in work, but here comes Stick Drift OP flying on in. Demon Mode Sushi should be able to finish them off, and there they go. Mollusk, Finicky, and Silence are out, but the third party instantly here. Sling doing a great job of just covering that for his squad as CHR try to come in for the third party. Now Hambino with some decent shots on that G7 Scout, but his vision is going to be obscured by the ring a little bit, and that buys enough time for the squad to get in safely over here at Survey.
Oh, he used the bubble right there to get back to the team, but those shots actually put up a lot of pressure to force him to heal within those doors. Although with Ring 3 now unlocked, CHR may want to retreat right back towards where they put those caustic traps by the railroad, and that's exactly what they're going to do. So that way they could take a longer rotation after getting some intel and knowing that there's a team coming in over to the side, and maybe potentially another team to meet them on the railroads, as another team could be potentially rotating out of Skyhook.
Looks like Dupe might have disconnected, unfortunately, from the game, and so now Dude's Night Out are just left down to a solo. Here's WHO caught out on the western side of the zone with a minute 33 to go. Their main rotation option is going to be that jump pad, and they're getting gate kept right now. Defensive bombardment down as well. Davis taking so much damage. Great Sword, Vize need to try and buy some time for the squad here. Vize got challenged from behind as well. There is the dome from Davis, and they are just getting picked apart. They do find one kill, but here comes Ziploc bags in for the third party now. All the nades coming in along with the defensive bombardment. They bide their time, and they finally come up with Pager.
Oh, that bombardment there, Jamerson, put on so much pressure, but let's waste no time here. Another third party has made their way over. They wanted to get invited, and that's exactly what they're doing. Inviting themselves here. It's going to be Anime Freaks and Bambino opening things up with a Beast of the Hunt and a scan. Pyramid, though, takes a lot of damage. He's the first to go down. Now it's a 3v1, and I'm not too sure how much you have left. If you're sign us, please. These players have had so much experience under their belt, and now they're the ones that are going to be the fourth party. The bombardment going down. The bubble is going to come in to make sure they can secure these kills, buy in some space, and that's exactly what they do. Now they have so much material to work with here. They have another squad pulling in. It's a no time wasted for these squads to try to get as much KP as possible now as we're down to 11 squads left.
Who are all of these squads just kind of dilly-dallying around on the edge of the zone, all with the same game plan? Try to find the kill points now. It's going to be sign us, please. I do pick up a few, but more importantly, of course, it's going to be the equipment that they get here. But taking a look, we have some even spread across the game. 6xZs were the kill leaders in the lobby before they went down, but they ultimately only get one placement point overall. So that's going to be a 6-point game for them. CHR, though, still holding their position inside the train tunnel, now moving down south as the ring continues to pull. It should be going over towards that train platform just to the south of them. where that respawn beacon is. But for the time being, they can just hold this position for now. Menaces for Society looking for these fights on the edges as they are going to go hunting, and this might be just a solo rat. We do have 11 squads left, and Nemero might give his life for it, and it is Verhulst, so he does go down. Dude's night out are knocked out in 11.
Yeah, that was really good awareness, though, from Nemero, but was it worth it here? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. What are you gonna do in this situation? Look at the chunk of damage Nemero is taking from the circle. Now Riverim is gonna try their best to get them back in this fight, but there's somebody else that's already hanging onto the edge of the circle. That rat may not have been worth it. You wanted that last-minute KP, but there's still 9 other squads left, and Nemero has gone down again. They get the scan, and hopefully they don't get scanned so that way that intel doesn't go to that other team, but you already see that they're pushing in. They know that they're in some trouble, and they are trying to circle keep here while they do have the positional advantage with the beacon right behind them too. Can't see in the mini-map if the beacon is on that building. I think it is, but overall you can see the circle over to the right, and you can see this position that they're setting themselves up with, especially with that Sentinel now pulling out the Volt, cracked shields going out, and it's going to be Shorusuke who's going to actually try to solidify this. Another team maybe wrapping around over to the right side, but BRS going to make sure that they did the cleanup properly with this other squad pulling in. It's going to be the OB team actually who managed to utilize those caustic ult to actually hold on some of that space. Meanwhile, those Sinus Please, they got some death boxes to loot from and a lot of equipment here to work with. They do get scanned over from the other side. It's another team pulling in after they just finished this fight.
Interesting, rotating all the way from Countdown to come all the way over to Fragment West now. CHR, they were the squad that pulled up. They have that caustic in the back pocket. Crook does need to build up that Nox gas grenade, so I'm surprised they committed that into the fight, as we're getting so close to the late game here. It doesn't look like they have gold helmets either, and so, I don't know. Maybe they can get it up in time. But with 11 seconds to go before the zone starts closing in, we're down to 8 squads, 21 players remaining. Plenty of spots for teams to kind of exist for now, and so I don't know if we'll find any action until the final ring starts closing in.
Noticing now too here, Jamerson, CHR, Ronnie, Crook, Cambino, that's great. Very nice play on words there, but also having a lot of experience playing all together. They do see there's another squad right behind them. The Valkyrie coming in from Ronnie, actually trying to control some of that space with a tactical. They are trying to utilize these caustic traps to control some space, but it's BRS that are still holding on to the Sentinel, putting in some damage, just trying to control some space and trying to get some intel, while this other opposing team, though, has some control over the circle, but it's behind them where the threat is. They've lost a lot of shields here. Luckily, though, defeated, and Rasuki has managed to hold it down without getting that cracked notification for the other team to try to push in on them, but they did for Shorusuke, and they're going to clean him up, and that's going to be 2 members left over for BRS.
Yeah, Shorusuke actually going down to his own defensive bombardment there, unfortunately. But Nick Cagematch playing this one out as a duo. Try to push up. Always Senpai has gone down. Shitty PC is the only one left, and he gets finished off. It's going to be Team Pickles that are holding this train platform here as it continues to actually pull away from it. They'll have a little bit to work off of on the back side and enough cover as well, and so they can be relatively safe there. We're down to 7 squads, 18 players remaining. So I believe we should have at least 1 rat, maybe a duo running around, or it could be 3 squads that are currently damaged. More than likely, it is a solo rat. He has just gotten finished off. It was going to be defeated. That picks that one up. Now we're down to 6 squads remaining.
This is intense, too. They're getting some notification here to let them know who's down there, but it's going to be helping who needs some help. He barely has a shield. He's out of this situation, but unfortunately leaves Exalu, who's out of this fight, and that's going to be it for that team. Stickdrift OP getting some KP themselves. Looking pretty hefty here as they find themselves into another fight with this other team. Right below that jump tower, Stickdrift OP aren't letting go of this high ground here. Instead, it's going to be Sling, who's out of this fight just for right now. Luckily, he does have Demon Mode Sushi, who's right there to help cover him while he pops that shield back, and getting some intel with the scan as his team tries to rotate right behind him. A little sneaky in this situation, but unfortunately for them, they have to deal with Sling fix scan instead. They do land some shots, but they're trying to make sure that they're not getting sandwiched on this high ground. They're trying to hold this position as long as possible.
Yeah, we're now down to 4 squads, 3v1, if I did that correctly. We have 1 rat in sync who is still alive right now, and honestly, that's kind of what I want to see out of our more seasoned squads, to just try and eagle up on most of the lobby and take fight after fight. Ultimately, someone did have their number with that third party, but they did farm up a lot of kill points along the way. We'll see how much longer Sync can stay alive for, as you can see. all the teams now positioning here just on the edges. It looks like maybe Sync did get finished off, so it's just down to a 3v3v3. So he at least secures top 4 for his squad here, and all the teams have some kind of rock to work off of, but it looks like Demon Mode Sushi might be forced out. CHR have a little bit more ground to work with, but no, they are actually safe over there. And so now in this 3-team engagement, it's all about who engages first. Everyone pretty much seems on equal footing, as you can see between Stickdrift OP and CHR. They both have red Evo shields. It's all about who's got the utility, who's going to have a defensive bombardment, who's going to have a Nos gas grenade.
Yeah, you can see some time being bought in here. I don't think any of these teams want to be the ones to overcommit first, because the moment that happens here, Jamerson, that third party is going to come in full force, and nobody wants to overcommit. So this may just be the end circle fight that we're going to anticipate right after these 20 seconds come out and the circle starts closing in. Instead, you see CHR. They have known positioning from where both of these teams are, and they don't want to be the ones to get sandwiched, especially since each of these teams are holding on to those rock positionings that you may note of.
Do have the mobile respawn beacon being dropped down now, as teams are just peppering away at each other, and CHR actually force out a Gibraltar bubble a little bit early on. It is the slow circle though, so they should be able to bide their time and get that cooldown back up, as the ring now slowly closing in on all of our squads. Currently though, Sycophantic, Icy River, and Bony Tony have pretty much priority. They're going to be one of the last ones forced out of cover here. CHR splitting up though. They've got to be careful. Hambino trying to go in for a flank on the right hand side. He might get full 3-man peaked. Icy Reaver goes after him, and that forces out the bubble from CHR. I like the attempt, but that was super ballsy by Hambino.
I was a little scared there. I was like, Hambino doesn't even have a way out. He's forced to use that bubble. Yeah, like you mentioned, luckily the circle is closing in slowly around our teams, but that was intense. Pickles now wasting no time to rotate over to the side. They have some known awareness of some people that have just gone down. It's going to be we're going to have Pickles now instead that are going to have that scan going in. Oh, quick peek at us getting into this game. And that mobile respawn beacon is going to provide at least some cover to retreat to, aside from this rock that Crook is holding on to the Pride Rock with his full chest out, and these traps that he can set up in the circle. That's going to be lights out, and it's going to be the Obey crew that we've seen before. CHR, they're taking our second game.
You got to see how slow Obey actually played that one out. It's actually surprising. If you saw there at the end, his R301 had 5 bullets total in it. They weren't able to get into too many fights in the early game, mid game. Of course, they were forced out of a lot of fights before they were able to pick up loot. But that's what happens. If you make it to the late game, you will ultimately find some kills. Your economy might be punished for it, but the plus 12 is really nice to have. So we're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we get back, we'll have game number 3 after this.
Pringles flavors. Make new ones.
How much do you think Pringles paid these people?
Hardly anything.
Hey, you guys want to stack different Pringles flavors to create new flavor combos? Here, I'll go first. Pizza, barbecue, and jalapeno. The spicy barbecue pizza stack.
Get him!
Grandpa, what's going on?
Pringles. We're trapped in a Pringles commercial. They must have taken us in our sleep.
How can we get out?
We can't, Summer. They warned me this would happen, and I didn't listen.
Stack Pringles, make endless new flavors. Stacking Pringles to make new flavors. Make endless new flavors. Barbecue, wavy, and sour cream and onion equals a 3-layer dip stack.
Fruit, refreshingly sweet, but without sugar, 0-calorie treat. Now all our top fresh flavored splash.
It's fruit freshin'.
Cheez-It snapped. How's it taste? It's so thin, crispy, and cheesy. And I just want to keep eating it. And eating it. They love them.
Snapped. So good we may run out of cheese.
Hey, shake it, kiddo.
Love Dad. Oh.
Kellogg's Rice Krispies Treats. A little love when it's needed.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Game 2 all done and dusted there, and we see the CHR boys coming out on top. I'm your host, Yeso, ready for a little bit of a breakdown of that last game for all of you at home. We've still got 2 more remaining on the day, so don't go anywhere. We still have plenty of SeriesE qualifier action ahead of us. But as we bring up our post-game stats here, it was, as I said, CHR coming out on top. Hambino for that squad leading the way, and it was Crook in the statistical department, dominating kill leader. He grabbed 6 for himself, almost 1900 damage there. That is a great performance from him. And the thing I really like about this squad, and why I think they certainly are a favorite to qualify for next season, is it feels like all 3 players, Hambino, Ronnie, and Crook, can all frag out, can all kind of take the lead depending on the day, depending on who is feeling it. So great work there from Cook, and it really feels like they're carrying some momentum from yesterday. If you guys missed out, obviously they had a solid performance Tuesday in our qualifiers, but this squad is also competing in ALGS right now. So they played yesterday in a group that include G2, Team Liquid, and Charlotte Phoenix. And while G2 and Team Liquid were able to take, I believe, 5 out of the 6 games in terms of first place, Obey came out of it 7th place in their lobby after 6 games of action and 18th overall in points. And that is between 40 different teams. So they're in that top half trying to qualify for the final. So while it wasn't the most impressive performance from them, I think it was a solid day with some tough competition, and they're trying to carry some of that momentum here into tonight. Obviously, getting a game under their belt in the first 2 is very important for that, and they're definitely a squad I am keeping my eye on to be one of those 4 to qualify for Season 3. We've still got 2 games to go. Jamerson and Vicky Kitty will hit our Mobile 1 leaderboard and get you ready for game number 3 after this.
I wasn't born in the spotlight. Nah. Had to grind and shine like a star on a hot night. And something about the struggle now resides in my muscles. And every trial and trouble helped to hang my hustle. Real rock stars don't chase the spotlight. It chases them.
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E. 2 games done, 2 games left to go. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Mobile 1 leaderboard to see where all of our teams stand. Now, I believe we had Team XOXO going down relatively early there, and we'll see how our first place team did. Nicolas Cage match. They're still in first place with 27 points overall, but CHR with that win now propelled themselves into second place. Team XOXO do pick up a few points there in game number 2, but they are now in third place with 22 points overall.
Wow, these top 3 teams are so close, literally shoulder to shoulder with one another. I mean, Skirt is also not too far behind, but that 3-point difference between CHR and Nick Cage match is intense there, especially since Nick Cage match are still holding on to that first place spot. That all really trickles down to their placement and what they were able to really work with when they felt like they were circle kept. So overall, though, they're still holding on to that first place spot. They do have 2 more matches to go through here, though, Jamerson, to try to maintain that position, or is CHR going to come out and swoop it from right underneath them?
Yeah, taking a look at the Mobile One high performance moment of that last game, as you can see, this is where it was the non-stop fighting on the western edge, on the western frontier here, as WHO or one of the first victims. You can see so much utility being tossed their way. Defensive bombardment after defensive bombardment after defensive bombardment coming down on top of them. So many teams wanted to get involved in this fight.
Might as well just call it a nuke here in just this one spot, right, Jamerson? I mean, just the fight that came out between these Gibby Bubbles, too, bringing in these close quarter fights. Meanwhile, though, Ziploc Bags came in for another third party, and they were in the right place at the right time. This is another one of those squads that we highlighted that, but there's also another squad rotating from right behind them, as you can see. Mass actually getting hit, and Yojo actually going down in the situation. They try to res him here, but the third party now made, rather their fourth party, if you want to call them that, made their way over to clean things up, and that was going to be Anime Freaks to get some of that early KP, or not rather early KP, but extra KP with Sinus Plea just over to their right to finish that fight.
Yeah, Sinus, please. We saw them getting a little bit more aggressive throughout this match, and we got to see them, of course, they were the ultimate winners here, moved on over to Fragment West to find more kill points that way, as we will have game number 3 set just shortly, and you have to remember that it's going to be 4 matches tonight. We have $1,000 on the line, and all the points, of course, will be cumulative. The top 4 scorers across the 4 nights of qualifiers will secure themselves a spot in Series E Season 3. So every single match matters, not just for the money of the nights, but also for securing yourself a spot in Series E, getting yourself a partnered spot, $750 per player per month for a number of months there. It's a lot for our competitors.
Yeah, and everything is cumulative points at the end of the day, so you want to make sure that you pop off on each and every one of these qualifier days, because that could really make a difference for your team qualifying at the end of the day for Season 3. So as we get set up, we're moving on to game number 3 for tonight. You may mention of it already, Jamerson, but only 4 games in total that are going to be played for today, and that is pretty intense. I think that's what we've been seeing play out throughout the rest of the night, where a lot of these teams are trying to play a lot more slower at the start of these games, because it's crucial moments like placement that really matters here.
Yeah, there's no standout lead yet in this lobby. First and second place are separated by about 3 points. The middle of the pack all sitting around 10, 15 points themselves as well. So with 2 good games, you can absolutely sneak away this victory. Now we get a look at where CHR are. They are dropping over here at Overlook, and so they'll be able to pick up some decent loot. And you know, I said at the beginning of the day that I would like to see them kind of swing more into playing a bit of aggressive style, really rely upon Ronnie to play aggressively and find the opening frags. But I'm glad to see that we've seen this development coming out from CHR, playing the slow game, playing the very macro-oriented game, and end up getting the win there in game number 2.
Yeah, and especially with what's on the line right now, it's necessary to try playing into that play style, really working out for them. Of course, in that last game, it's going to be Anime Freaks, though, that are trying to loot up. Luckily, though, Pyramid does already have a purple Evo shield, so with Dimension also having the blue Evo, they're not looking too bad here in terms of armor. They're actually opting to just scout up ahead, and they already know where the next circle is going to be.
Yeah, they're making their way on down. This one's going to be a little bit interesting. So Sorting Factory, quite possibly even over by Harvester for this one. If we could pull up the map, please, that'd be awesome. To take a look at this ring to talk about that a little bit more, and there we go. And so we do have a very similar circle to game number 1, but this one has a huge probability of pulling over towards the tree side. As you can see, the ping's going down for this squad right now. They want to take a hold of that office building, but AM, once again, in a fight over here on the northern side of the zone. They've already lost out on Lifty, and it was the same squad that took them out earlier on, I believe. It was a combination of Demon Mode Sushi along with Wizzy from 6XZ's that took apart this squad. And so they have not learned their lesson from the last game. We'll see if they can recover Lifty, get his banner, and get him back into the game.
That's tough there, too. You can see Fruit Ninja already in the drone to try to get his banner. Not too sure. Yeah, he does get it. They are going to be able to deliver Sir Lifty back to the beacon. See Sleepy Panda already getting into position. Doesn't have portal just yet, but perhaps will get it by the time they make their way over there, especially with some pressure coming on from that squad that's hanging on to that high ground train track tunnel that they just met their fate with.
They have plenty of opportunities trying to get back into this game, but it's about who else are you going to be running into. We know that 6XZs are going to be running on the western side of this map, and it might rotate up through Skyhook, but it's CHR that are now rotating down to the south. Will make their way through Geyser here, as ultimately their loot's okay. They've got the gold armor on Hambino. Ronnie's got the blue, but they would of course love to get something better for Crook there, especially when you're playing one of the bigger legends. Having only 50 armor, not the greatest, but they will go ahead, use this redeploy, and start moving their way on in. They do have the Valkyrie ult, and this might mean they go straight for that office building.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing right now. Also, could potentially get some intel, as I believe we had seen Anime Freaks earlier on pass by the side here, but now it's going to be the CHR crew that are making their way over to sorting. They're going to go long so that way they can hold that high ground position, and there's the intel that they wanted to note for, to know where the rest of the teams are going to be. If there was another team already in sorting, you could see actually there's somebody right below them. I'm not too sure if they know this just yet, but now that's definitely going to be the giveaway after they just get shot at.
Yeah, they kind of shorted this one a little bit on their drop. They went for the dip to try to pick up a little bit more speed, but that meant they were left short there in terms of distance, and now they are scrambling for anything. Really, they're just looking around, and everywhere they look, there is a squad. I'm surprised that they haven't gotten 3-2-1 team fired by anybody, but it looks like everyone else was worried about the positions around them. So they'll be able to hold on the north side here. Be able to hold the top of Banana, which is a great spot to hold when you do have this caustic. Being able to control both of these doorways with the barrel each, and also kind of leapfrog some forward to have a little bit more information earlier on. We do have a fight taking place though. Moose the Man will go down to Shosuke. There we go. But they have traded away. No full squad wipes quite yet. We're still at 20 squads left as Great Sword gets finished off. This might be coming down to a 1v1. Team XOXO is one of the squads that were over here at Sorting Factory, who for some reason did not spot out Team CHR at all. And they're in a pretty decent spot. This is an angle where they can at least try to poke out, pick up some damage on their Evo shields. And as we swap on over to Team Skirt, they are the ones who had that priority spot that everyone wanted in this zone.
Yeah, they're looking nice, although two of them dropping. This might be helping that wants to hold on to this position, as they do drop down just to see where the other team is, and they know exactly where they are after Davis actually gets taken out by his shield, or rather his shield gets taken out by that shot. They do get scanned from the low ground, but as long as they hold this position, they're going to look a lot better. But though right before, currently have the flat line now, though having the Anvil receiver could really put in some chunk of damage on those teams that are trying to contest them.
It was Team Skirt, excuse me, that got into some early fights. They have at least one kill point to their name right now, and they just need to hold down this position. Their economy looks great. They've got 200 ammo on that G7 Scout, and with a decent scope, they should be able to evolve their shields up to red very quickly here. Here's BRS on their rotate now, coming from the south-hand side, out of Harvester, excuse me, out of Thermal Station, but they have a squad ahead of them here, as we have a drop coming right on down, a replicator coming down, and the team is trying to actually, no, that might be a mobile respawn beacon, actually.
That, or it looks like a lifeline care package here. Actually, potentially, I'm not too sure. It looked like it had a blue beam over on top, but it's going to be BRS that are actually getting out of this position. They knew that they were getting poked in from afar, maybe by another team here, and they do have some nice Evo shields to work with, but their positioning in general doesn't seem very confident. They do have note of where the opposing team is, and they do have a scan to try to waver them off, but they're still sandwiched at the same time by that other team that we saw them engage with first.
I'm surprised. They see the mobile respawn beacon go down. They see it being popped as well, along with the dome being used, and they're not pushing it quite yet. Rizuki's trying to reposition himself to go for it. Defeated. Gonna pop this last ultimate excel, and then they will have the beast of the hunt, but it might be already too late to try and take advantage of the team to the north, who have fully recovered. The third has gone back into the game, and so there's no more opportunity to try to pick up the kills there. And so only one team now damaged. As you can see, 19 squads left, 56 players remaining. As that squad that they're firing on are a full 3.
Yeah, and noting that they're unfortunately not winning these trades. You're trying to buy in some space, but the Volt and Eva 8 combo with only 16 bullets for defeated may want to keep this fight close quarters. Holding this building is crucial, but it's not in circle, so they're forced out of position already. Meanwhile, though, in the world of stick drift, they're hanging out in fragment, and there's a team that's in circle. They want to continue on putting on a lot of this pressure while circle keeping this team. And it seems like stick drift, though, they don't really have a lot to work with. Still 2 blue Evos, and you currently have Flintstar, who still has that white Evo shield. There's a better position for a team that's probably meeting them up ahead, but luckily they do have this jump pad to try to get out of the situation quicker.
I'll be able to cut them off as well if they continue to run this way, but it doesn't seem like they will get chased down, as Demon Mode Sushi, he's the one that's leading the charge for his squad on that Octane now as he crests the hill to see if there's anyone below them. Seems like it's relatively safe for them, and so they should be able to continue to run in 1 minute and 54 seconds, so plenty of time if they get into a troublesome spot to make their way out of it. On board now with 6XZs, who have made their way over towards Sorting Factory, holding one of the toilet bowl positions over here. And of course, coming out from where they do, over at Countdown, they pick up some great loot. They've got the gold armor along with the purple on Wizzy. We'll see now if they can play for the late game. 6XZs have been getting into a lot of fights in their mid games and been winning out on a lot of them. It's just they have not been able to transition this into the late game. With 2 games left to go, this is where they need to absolutely show up.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they've been able to find those fights that they really want to. At least with some of the... Moving in, though, they're going to try to get back onto the high ground here. And this is the repositioning that could really make it for them, especially since...
Now 6XZs making their move continually now, going towards the south side, over towards launch site. They do have that back angle to work off of. BRS getting pushed. AJ finds one. He will be able to finish off the rest of the squad. WHO playing this one out as a duo. We're never able to recover Great Sword, so it's just going to be Vize and Davis Wave. The scan comes down. If that team realizes it's a duo, they might full send. So that's why WHO decide now is the opportunity to try and hold down a building instead. Play for the chokes. Try and force teams into the doorways where you can have an easier time handling them than 1v1s, 1v2s. They're just going to bide their time here, but they'll have to move now with 20 seconds left to go. Ring starts pulling away from them. There's another building to their east, but there's another squad that's already taken position over there. 18 squads, 52 players left, so that means there's one other squad that's actually playing this one out as a duo currently as well. So it's going to be 16 full squads, 2 duos currently as Menaces for Society. They're the ones that are holding down on the office building here to the south. Ring's going to pull away from them, and interestingly enough, again, this is why the tree position can be incredibly strong. This one should be going out into basically the cart that's in the middle of nowhere, in between Sorting Factory and tree. We'll keep an eye on that. But Menaces for Society, that's not a worry for them. Their position is safe within the next 2 zones, so they can try to just play from this spot, play from this high ground, pick up some kill points, but they're already on the move. Oh, we do have Sinus Please in a little bit of action here, a little bit slower on the northern side of Thermal Station. A lot of utility being used, defensive bombardments along with the bubble. Don't know if that was Wicked's defensive bombardment, but that was a huge nade coming up from Wicked as Trinal attack does go down to it. The port has been used as well, but they should be able to finish him off. Trinal gets thirsted, legit goes down. And oh boy, ODST now down to just 1 player remaining here. We'll see how aggressive do Sinus Please want to get off of this. They can see in the background the third parties trying to come in as well, and so they're not going to allow that to happen. But they start pushing up. And again, as they do pick up that extra kill, it's going to be Shitty PC that finishes off that team. Unfortunate for SeriesE, please, they weren't able to get that third kill, but they get 2 uncontested and just back away. They have options for rotation here, so they can just move around to the northern side. That's exactly what they'll do, as there's plenty of time to work with as well. 1 minute and 46 seconds. If they want to, they can try and turn around for these bodies to pick up some additional loot. We'll see if that happens, as looks like Oi Senpai getting into a fight now. AJ to go down from that charge rifle, and so SeriesE, please, I think they have the opportunity. Oi Senpai finds one more knock on Swag King. It's a 1v3 now, but final form is all down to just gains. We'll see. It's a 1v1, which means it's going to be a third party now for this squad. Gold bag res doesn't come in time. It doesn't seem like SeriesE, please, are here in time. So they do get the thirst onto Oi Senpai. Season 1 wingman gets the rest onto Shinny PC. But as he tries to zoom on out, he's getting completely run down now by SeriesE, please. They've dropped down to the low, made their way over towards the fences, and they will be relatively safe. And so they get out of there, but it will just be the duo for them, as SeriesE, please, don't pick up any more kills there. Another fight taking place on the south side of Harvester here, as Pickles, they've got double purple armor along with the blue on Boney Tony, are trying to make a push on this squad that's stuck in this building here to the south now, as the Beast the Hunt is going to run out after one last scan. And so their opportunity for a clean team fight is just not there anymore. They are continuing to posture for it. Arcstar will force them forward, and maybe that might have worked out for them. Boney Tony gets cracked, and he has to back off, though. And so without the Beast the Hunt, with just taking way too much time on this fight, Pickles have to call it here and retreat. Luckily for them, it looks like this side of the building will be in for the next zone, so they have plenty of time if they want to try and reapproach this, to take this fight. Icy River is going to want to really hold on to that defensive bombardment, really maybe throw it down onto the high ground there where anyone can peek from during this fight, as they're going to take this fight inside more than likely, more than anything else. And so that's going to be the primary concern with that defensive bombardment. You can see with the outlines, there's so many teams still over at Sorting Factory. This fight becomes incredibly hard to try and take, with especially when you consider that there's 16 squads left in this lobby. And so plenty of time, opportunity for teams to come in for the third party. You can see Team XOXO were in the area, but they're making their rotation now to the train. But oh boy, mid-air, Icy River lands the shots onto Malice Mamba. The bubble's already been used as well. They get him up, but here comes another full squad coming in. Bubble from the other side. Great connect with the PK, but he gets flanked. Yo-Yo Joe picks that one up on I'm Just Gibby. It's down to a 2v2, no, but oh my goodness, Team Skirt with the third party from this spot. You can see why it is so strong. They've already picked up 4 kill points for themselves, and they are safely in the next zone. Team Skirt still have some teams that are in the area over here at Sorting Factory now. As you can see, there's one playing inside the banana offices, and so they can continue to play gatekeepers here and pick up more and more kill points. And we mentioned it at the beginning. Their economy looked fantastic. They had 250, 240 some odd ammo for all of their guns. And so they could stay there and poke around for a while now. But here comes push out from Dude's Night Out as they try to push into this triangle building here. Skittle Case on the entry. Has to be careful, though, as Verhos finally joins the fray. But it doesn't matter. Duke cleans that one up. PK R301 combo. And Dude's Night Out will be able to stabilize off of this one. As, yeah, Verhos shows up so late. He doesn't even get any kill credit here. It was CHR that tried to come in for the third party, but nothing coming of it. As SeriesE, please. It's going to be Sync that just picks up a full 3-man there with the EVA 8. You have to imagine that it was the squad that helped and showed up and did some additional damage. Team XOXO still just trying to survive here as Malice Mamba goes down again. But you can see he knows when he's in trouble, throws down the bubble just in time, but EMP is out, slowing them all down. Gibby and Mamba down now as Pickles can just go ahead and push this with the scan. They realize that he is just left as a solo, as turns, backs away, even tries to get greedy on that drop. And it looks like it's just going to be a Prowler for him, which I guess could be good. Prowler Kraber, the long range and the short range. And somehow one of his team members was able to crawl into safety as another fight breaks out. Pickles versus Sleepy Panda here. They trade 1 for 1 as Bony Tony finds one more. It's down to a 1v2 now. Icy River has a lot of HP, but Bony Tony doesn't even need his help. They will finish him off, and they get the res onto Sycophantic. Here's the drop down now from another squad, though. It's going to be Mollis, who loses out on the 1v1 versus Bony Tony. Icy River will fall, though, and now Bony Tony is left down to a 1v2. Bubble has been used. They might have even been able to get the res. Not quite yet. They're trying to just go for the thirst here. Bony Tony juking and jiving, going around to the left-hand side, getting complete flank onto this jib. Tried to go for the melee, misses out on that. Has to reload. The wingman now hits and takes him out. Huge plays coming out from Bony Tony, keeping his team alive, but Team Harbingers, how much longer can they survive for? The gas from Lightstar Joe, putting a slowdown onto this squad, taking a lot of damage. They're doing a great job of hiding through it, at least, with that Gibraltar bubble. And Dude's Night Out, finally finding the game, waking up later on in the night like we saw on Tuesday night. Back on board with Menaces of War Society, who are stuck here on the low. They got some loot boxes to pick up for themselves, and it looks like they were the ones that were able to quite possibly pick up the duo. Nemro has to be careful, though. Someone was peeking from that high ground office, and he'll be able to retreat to the rest of his squad as they just heal that one up. As you can see, this ring will continue to pull down now out into the middle of nowhere as some buildings over at Tree are actually still in.
Jamerson, what did I just come back to? If anything, you're going to be the MVP after today. I'm enjoying what I'm watching right now, especially after that play from Bony Tony. The ring now claiming Boxo T. I can't believe what I'm seeing. This is a lot more fast-paced game that we had witnessed compared to the other games, especially since there's 8 squads left, though. It's really down to the wire within these teams, and Menaces having to reposition themselves. They at least know that there is a squad on the high ground, like you made mention of, but they do have Nimuro, who could scout out ahead. He's about to get his ultimate soon, and taking a look at this outer perspective to see where these other squads are located. You currently have Pickles, who are still holding on to that high ground, but there's somebody behind them. It's going to be the Obey crew, who are hanging out to that low ground and slowly making their way over, meeting their fate with Pickles.
Dude's Night Out do have control over one side of this building, but that peek out keeps them a little bit wary here. Beast of the Hunt is popping throughout all of this for Verho, so he'll have another scan once that bat is finished off. CHR dropping down now. They've got the caustic gas out as well, getting the first knock onto Z Davis. We'll see where Exile and the rest of the team are dropping down into the gas. Exile will get finished off by Ronnie, and CHR clean up this edge of the zone. They will be safe as well. Hambino trying his best to heal up and almost goes down. He's got the gold bag res. It's gonna be Verhulst that picks it up. Dude's Night Out getting aggressive, but they switch on their fight now as they go on out. It's all up to Verhulst here left in this fight. He does clean up. We're down to 4 squads remaining. Where are the third parties? It seems like everyone was just involved in their own fight. Now they're all recovering here, and so it's going to be a final 3v3v3 once again here in the third game of the night.
And a mobile respawn beacon being called into. What is going on here? You currently have Obey team over to the side. They have that outer position, but they're the only team that doesn't have a building to work with. Luckily, though, they do have that middle circle and that mobile respawn beacon to at least use for extra cover. They also have these death boxes for extra materials that they may need to actually push in closer. But overall, you could take a look at the positioning, and Dude's Night Out, they know exactly where the Obey crew is going to be. CHR, they're going to have to rotate soon, especially since they don't want to find themselves sandwiched in between Wicked and Tempest.
CHR on the back of a win from game number 2. Want to repeat that now, but we got 2 amazing squads ahead of them. Dude's Night Out along with Sign Us Please. Bubble has been forced out from Dude's Night Out, and they're going to go ahead and take to the skies. But there might be enough time for both CHR and Sign Us Please just try and shoot them out. As you can see, oh boy. Yep. When your flight leader, when your pilot gets taken out, the rest of the flight is not going to go well as they get taken out here. It's down to the last 3v3. CHR trying to buy some time. More barrels get placed down. They need to pop them as they go as well. The bubble has been used. So Sign Us Please smell weakness on the other side, trying to set up the crossfires. Tempest shoots from the left. You've got Saint on the right. Beautiful beam through that smoke as well as they try to charge up, but you can see the effectiveness of the gas. Ronnie picks up 2, and CHR are gonna do it. It's back-to-back for CHR here in game number 3.
I'm so appalled at the way that this played out right there, Jamerson. Sinus, please, they had the ability to actually push in on them. They saw the weakness shine in CHR's eyes, but they put themselves out in the open, and you made note of that caustic difference that really played a part in that last fight. Congratulations, though, to CHR that closed out game number 3 out of 4. I had some technical difficulties at the end, but Jamerson, I want to say that you got the MVP of that match because that was a great hold, and that was great performance that we saw from our players.
Yeah, we're going to take a short break, and when we get back, it'll be the final game of the evening. Remember, $1,000 on the line. You're not going to want to miss the finale for day number 2, so don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Stack Pringles flavors. Make new ones.
How much do you think Pringles paid these people?
Hardly anything. Hey, you guys want to stack different Pringles flavors to create new flavor combos? Here, I'll go first. Pizza, barbecue, and jalapeno. The spicy barbecue pizza stack. Get him!
Grandpa, what's going on?
Pringles. We're trapped in a Pringles commercial. They must have taken us in our sleep.
How can we get out?
We can't, Summer. They warned me this would happen, and I didn't listen. Stack Pringles, make endless new flavors. Stacking Pringles to make new flavors. Make endless new flavors. Barbecue, wavy, and sour cream and onion equals a 3-layer dip stack.
Kellogg's, Fruit Loops, Apple Jacks, Corn Pops, Tiger Paws. They're Jumbo.
Jumbo snacks, snack time heroes. Go take them on the go. Cereal, magnified, showing up for snacking time. Jumbo snacks, snack time heroes. Go take them on the go.
It's Jumbo. It's for snacking. It's Jumbo Snacks.
Hey, shake it, kiddo. Love Dad. Oh.
I've got this.
Kellogg's Rice Krispies Treats. A little love when it's needed.
Versus coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true sign trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. Your memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Put the bars in the brakes. I'm talking one chance, that was so good for the goal. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Let's go.
All right, everybody, welcome back here to Series E Season 3 Qualifiers Day number 2. 3 games all done and only one more to go. And we saw CHR, also known as Obey Alliance, grabbing their 2nd win in a row. They are certainly rolling right now. And as we get into our post-game stats, I do want to give a stat for you guys that isn't going to be listed up here. Between CHR, Dudes Night Out, and Sign Us Please, those 3 squads had 30 kills between them. They wiped out an entire half of the lobby just between those 9 players. So dominant game here from those top 3 squads. It was certainly a fun one there. I believe we have post-game stats here. Production's going to tell me if we don't. Yes, we do. We do. Beautiful. Hambino obviously leading the way there, but it was Sinus Please leading in the statistical department, and specifically it was synced. 10 kills, getting into the double digits. What a performance there from Synced, and almost 3,000 damage, 2835. That is an impressive performance, and it's certainly, if you are Sinus Please, it's going to sting a little bit that they weren't able to finish that game with the victory they were looking for. Vicky, Kitty, and Jamerson were talking about the positioning. It looked like they were set up to succeed with the way that final circle was closing, but CHR just clutches it out. Ronnie getting 2 kills there to end the game. What a finish from CHR, and we'll have to see if they can make it 3 in a row here to end the day. We have just one more game left here in our qualifier, but just remember, we are not done after tonight. We still have 2 more days, and next week, June 8th and June 9th will be the final 2 days. And remember, it is cumulative points over the length of our qualifiers that is important. So a good night here from CHR sets them up for success, but they still have to perform next week as well. So we are by no means done here with qualifiers. Still plenty more action to go. But Jamerson and Vicky Kitty will check out our Mobile One leaderboard and get you all prepared for our final game of the day after this.
Imagine you love frosting and filling.
I do love frosting and filling.
Oh, well, imagine if there was a way to enjoy that delicious goodness anywhere, anytime, out of the toaster, out of the box, out of one of those baggy thingies, with nothing but a thin layer of foil between you and...
Pasta.
Yes, Curtis. This is a commercial about pasta.
I love it.
Frosting and filling for your pasta.
I like pesto.
I wasn't born in the spotlight. Nah. Had to grind and shine like a star on a hot night. And something about the struggle now resides in my muscles. And every trial and trouble helped to hang my hustle. Real rock stars don't chase the spotlight. It chases them.
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E. We just watched CHR take back-to-back wins. Will they be able to finish off the day strong before we head into game number 4? Let's go ahead and take a look at the Mobile One leaderboard, though, as CHR should be in the lead, and indeed they are. 43 points overall, but Sign Us Please, come out of nowhere, are now in second place with 35 points. And now Nicolas Cage match, who started off the day in first place, are now down to third place.
Wow, look at the difference in points here. Now that we're starting to see a lead here from CHR, about a 7-point difference in comparison to Sinus Please. Nick Cage matched, though, the team that was able to hold that Mobile One first place spot on the leaderboards, now down to third place. So look at the difference that just one game was able to make here, Jamerson, between these teams. And now that that gap is expanding, CHR taking 2 games back-to-back can really make it or break it for the rest of these last 2 teams between Sinus Please and Nick Cage match to make a comeback, because it's those top 2 spots that really get to walk away with that prize pool money. $700 going into first place and $300 going into second place, especially with those cumulative points rather that you want to make sure you end the day with. And I believe going on to our 4th game of the day is gonna really make a difference here, because especially since those are the only games that we're going to be seeing for the night.
Yeah, and also next Tuesday and Thursday as well for Sign Us Please, a team that started off a little bit later because they did not compete on Tuesday. They have a lot of work cut out for them, but they're at least having a strong start here on day number 2. Let's take a look at the Mobile One high performance moments of game number 3, though. And it came down to Team XOXO getting caught. We're seeing that a lot of the times in these circles, there's just a locus of action. And this was definitely one of those spots here in game number 3 where it was just team after team after team that were fighting.
Oh man, this was such a good play from Team Pickle, specifically Tony, that we saw clutch that out. You were taking control here, Jamerson, and you were doing such a fantastic job. Meanwhile here, I was sitting at the edge of my seat, seeing Tony play and wondering, wow, the way that he was able to handle not only these 1v1 isolations, but when the third party came rolling in, Tony still came out on top. You see how this all plays out here as Team Pickle seemed to be put in a pickle themselves. Luckily, they had that shield, but the moment this team dropped, Boney Tony, look how low he was. He played this so patiently too. When he got the shield swap, immediately knew that another team was right behind him, and he took this 1v1 with the wingman and then finishing things off with the R9.
It was like he knew exactly where Mollis was going to end up dropping there. I see River still trying to heal up, but Silence does drop on him, and Boney Tony left again. Is in a 1v1, 1v2 situation, but he does not worry whatsoever. This is an incredible moment for Boney Tony, for Team Pickles here. They're having a pretty decent game, and they have found some kill points throughout, but they need a lot more. Like I said, for teams that were not able to make it into day one of qualifiers, they're playing from 6 games behind, 6 games of progress that a lot of other squads were able to have. Teams like Team XOXO, Dudes Night Out, who had 50 plus points in day number 1. So there's a lot of catching up to do, but we'll see. We have 2 more nights and 1 last game tonight. And so, excuse me, you got to finish this one off strong. And here we go, headed into the final game of the evening. $700 going to first place, $300 going to second place, and of course, all the points leading up to the top 4 at the end of the qualifiers here. So a lot on the line for our squads, especially for a lot of the teams that just want to get their foot in the door and competitive, really want to make a name for themselves. This is where you start.
Yeah, especially now that this is the last game of the night, we may see a different pacing from these teams, maybe trying to play it a little bit safer. As we get set up, though, we're going to see the perspective of the winning team from the last 2 games, Team CHR, that are going to be over to the side of No Name, and instead, they're going to try to scout out ahead. They have that beacon to work with, so that way they know where the next circle is going to be, which is what Ronnie's going to aim to do.
Yeah, they're gonna have a lot of loot to work with here. Typically, a lot of times we see that No Name getting taken sometimes even by the teams that's over by Geyser, and it was Bambino who was eyeing it, but Ronnie forces him off there. So we have another Southern Circle. This time, though, it will go down, straight down into launch site. So for the teams that can, they need to rotate now and get there quickly. As we join on board with ODST, who found themselves on the wrong end of rotations in that last game. Coming down to the south-hand side here, you can see Crypto Drone being used to pick up this beacon for us, and 6XZs are just here. And that's actually great to know that from that building, it's actually within range to pick it up with the Crypto Drone.
Yeah, that's a good character knowledge here, showing up by nades, and as they do loot over to Skyhook, it's going to be interesting. We already see some pings coming in. They do already want to go in for the rotation, especially since the circle is going to end up on the other side of the map. They don't want to get called out with those rotations, especially since, you know, what we've seen in the past tonight with ODST. You may mention that wrong positioning at the wrong time, unfortunately, kind of did it in for them. Now, as we do see 6XZs make their way over, they don't want to get called out, and they're going to go up to position themselves as a priority.
They have been finding themselves in a lot of fights, and you can see the bubble already coming out from Final Form. They are getting pinched, have to retreat, and they're going to be retreating straight into 6XZ's Absolute Monarchy. The ones that try to pick this one up, and they do get that first kill. Swag King on to Fat Fruit Ninja, but like we said, 6XZs are right there on the other side of this fight, and they were able to get one knock, and I believe the thirst in just a moment here. Absolute Monarchy do not want to overextend for this one, and so they'll just back off. They pick up that 1 kill point. They'll be happy with that. They'll keep on moving here. You have to remember, they're on the north side, the most north side of the map, and the ring is pulling down to the absolute opposite end as well. And so if they want to play for positioning, if they really want to utilize this crypto, they need to get moving as they're already late on this rotation.
Yeah, especially since 6XZs are right there, so they don't want to get pinched over by while they're rotating. They're trying to look for options here, and also trying to get intel over the team that they were just able to make note of, and they do see exactly where they're rotating here. Trying to walk away with that 1 KP, though. It's Dudes Night Out that are fighting over to the side here. And dropping down from that high ground, they don't want to get split up too much. They do get scanned, and the scan coming in from Verlust, who has the Beast of Hunt already activated, so he's going to get a scan once again. But it's a scan for a scan, and the high ground goes in favor to this opposing team, who's booting them off here. Luckily, the circle is right there, but if they don't want to get circle kept, they may be forced to actually rotate long.
Now the Beast of the Hunt has ran out for Verhulst there, so he will not have another one as he's forced back. Big connect with that airburst nade, heading for the 100 onto the other side. It's Ziploc bags that took the wrong end of that exchange. You can see Yo-Yo Joe going for the slow heals as well. No bats for him. And so Mass will back off as Dude's Night Out are setting up the crossfire as he gets out of that queue. Takes some damage from behind. Scan comes in just in time for Verhulst. Now coming in for the flank as they all have their eyes turned towards the front there. He gets the knock, but it's a 1-for-1 exchange. Dude and Skittlecakes need to find another knock though. It's going to be down to this 1v2 and they get cleaned up. They need to get Verhulst up and they need to do it quickly. As you can see, nades coming out already for the third party. They have to leave Verhulst here. Then Skittlecakes and Dupe are out. Nick Cage match were the teams was the team that came in for the third party, and they will continue to hunt them down. A Season 1 wingman, he's got his Beast of the Hunt pop. You've also got, of course, the stim coming out from Shinnick PC. It's only a matter of time, 8 more seconds left, but as he turns the corner, there they are, bubbled down just in time. They do back away, but Season 1 wingman will not let them back off for free as he continues to hunt them down. But this is going to be a long chase as they might be able to just work their way all the way back around and maybe pick up that beacon, or excuse me, that banner, but they're retreating now. Down towards the low as they're getting hit for flash. Dupe will fall, and Skittlecase going down to Oi Senpai. Nick Cage match waking up here after being dropped down to third place position. They want to finish off this day strong.
Yeah, this is the opportunity now. Now that they've gotten this early KP, they want to make sure that they outlast some of these teams. Go for placement. Great shots coming out from Nick Cage match, and the way that they were able to clean up that squad too while they were at it. They were able to get some extra credit, and now they're going to be able to rotate right into circle that's right next to them.
With a lot of great loot, with a lot of ammo as well. They are just set up to finish this one off strong. And so now with this zone going over towards launch site though, they are not running for themselves a Valkyrie. So if they run into chokes, it's going to be difficult. They're really going to have to utilize the jump pad from Shinny PC, and that can be a bit more dangerous, but they have another squad in their sights and they will try to chase them down. Here's 6XZs making their move, and fortunate for them, coming out of Skyhook with double blues and a white is not the greatest, especially when we know what the other side has. And so they're going to try and dodge out of this as quickly as possible. Absolute Monarchy here on the northeast side of the zone, getting gate kept over by Geyser now. It's Stick Drift OP from the high ground that have forced them back. But that was a defensive bombardment coming out from Flinzar, and you can see they could just go ahead and disengage and try to play from a different angle instead.
Yeah, they're opting to just back off here, especially since Flinzar only has that White Evo. I feel like this is the second time we've actually noted this, that Flinzar has the White Evo to work with, while the rest of this team now going back to the Geyser. Meanwhile, though, Nick Cage match, they're finally bringing this fight over to potentially 6XZs. And you talked about the fact that they didn't really have a lot to work with after coming in from Skyhook. They get one down, though. Nick Cage match having the advantage, not trying to overextend. It said Season 1 wingman is going to heal up with that gold Evo, just needs to pop one shield cell. They do get that 3-man scan, and closing things out, ensuring that they do get that kill. That's a really big deal here, especially since we have this team managing to get some of that extra KP. Who, though, WHO, hanging out to this high ground and this rock, Pride Rock at that, to stop some of these rotations. We have Vize on the Caustic to try to control some of the space, but it's a matter of being able to pop this med without getting shot while you rotate. Luckily with that Gibby Dome, he is going to be able to get right back into position with the rest of his team.
So WHO now up against Nick Cage match here on the low, but it doesn't seem like they completely chased after these kills. They saw that it was a full 3 and they back away here, but like I said, they don't have that Valkyrie, so moving through these chokes can be a little bit difficult. You do have options going over to the north-hand side, make their way through Harvester instead. Is definitely an option for them. For Harbingers, though, they are stuck here on the southeast side, having to go through Another squad who's trying to gatekeep them here. Lightstar trying to slow things down with those barrels, but here comes some nades. Does not connect onto Nemusona, and now they are cornered. You can see the roof control being held by the other squad as well, right above them. They need to just actually either commit to the solo up top or the duo that's inside the building. As they swing out, that duo actually backs off and gives them some space.
Well, they also do get scanned here too, so while they are holding onto this building, the other squad now is going to get into position, get onto the roof. If they could try to isolate one member, which they don't, but now all three-man squad here is going to be hanging onto the roof instead. Harbingers, though, not looking so great with this armor. They do have some ultimates to work with, but it's just a matter of this roof control that they're being wary of, and they're not in circle too, so they want to start rotating safely here around what could be the line of sight of Lava City, and it's going to be a squad that they're going to be met with, and they're immediately retreating right back to the building that they were sitting happy in.
They're trying to figure out how to utilize this Valkyrie ultimate, trying to find the open space. As you can see, Dome is a bit of a nuisance for them with those little overhangs, and there they go. Or is this it? Is this it? I think this is the spot. They can do it from here. So they will have it. They've got the bubble as well, and they will take to the skies to get out of this angle, taking a lot of damage for their effort, though. Nemusona almost cracked throughout all of that. Will finally take some flesh damage, but they are out of trouble. You can see how troublesome the Dome was for them. Other teams tagging them as they're moving along. They're actually committing now down to the low, stuck out here in the barrels. Oh boy, they have some cover, but Nemusona will ultimately fall. Fat Fruit Ninja picks that one up, and that's kind of the issue you run into when you use the bubble to just get the starting animation off. You don't have it for when you land, and so Nemusona will fall. Maybe they have an opportunity to try and find a mobile respawn beacon. Maybe they can get the res over by Sorting Factory.
Jamerson, they landed in the middle of a war zone. There were so many people waiting for them down below that unfortunately they just didn't have any other options. You may note of it, they used that bubble so they didn't have it when they came down. Speaking of bubble though, that's going to be a bubble used for AM and Nick Cage match. They smell blood. They are not tired of the fact that they're just charging into these teams. Now bring this fight close up though. Shin PC is getting hit from behind. He wants to be actually wary. It could be a third party actually making their way right over to this fight. Shinny PC actually takes so much damage, but they clean up this fight. Now hopefully they could get these shield swaps in time before this third party rolls right up into this cart.
This is one of those positions though that becomes very difficult to try and third party for, because you're also committing into the same kind of third party trap that the other team was in, and so no one really wants to commit on to that one. Nick Cage match will be able to make it out, and take a look at that. They have at least 9 kill points to their name. They've basically made up the difference between first and third, so they might already be tied for first at this point. And we know that it's at least 9 points, but they might definitely have more actually. Malice Mamba though in his bot of trouble as Team XOXO on the retreat. It's gonna be a combination of BRS along with Sign Us Please that pick those up, and it looks like Harbingers were able to recover Nemusona and get that res off, and they're just gonna have to run it. They're gonna have to risk it, and they just drop it down here in the middle of Sorting Factory. Teams are gonna smell this and start coming like moths to a flame.
And CHR still up and alive and kicking. They're holding on to the edge of the circle. They get scanned in the process, so the Valkyrie tactic is gonna come out. They do have to be wary of this. The bombardment may also be used here from Hambino, and he is going to pull the trigger on that, forcing them to retreat and to go right back inside. But they were able to isolate one of the members that are actually on the low ground there, forced out to use the Gibby bubble. And I like the different angles that we're seeing from the Obey crew, actually trying to split some of that focus fire so that way they aren't able to retreat safely. Hambino finding some shots, but he loses his shield first, so he is going to have to utilize this door just to peek first. He's going to try to actually heal as a priority. They have to be wary though, because there could be squads rotating right in from behind. Meanwhile, the Harbingers are going to be able to have this roof over their head to avoid this bombardment, but they're not avoiding this team fight as they push right into close quarters. Nemusona though is so close to passing out. He is quite literally the epitome of one. He's forced to shield up, but they're going to hold on to this roof, which is the best position they can hold on to right now, especially after losing their Gibby.
Yeah, without that bubble, this rotation is going to be absolutely deadly. Lightstar Joe throwing down the barrels for them. try and have a bit more control over this roof, but you can see that team posturing to try and climb up. The PKs, though, keeping them wary, keeping them at bay for the time being. Gonna try and slide on over towards the other rooftop. Light Star Joe committing to the low, and then Musona has the roof here. And we're not able to recover the banner as well, and with 30 seconds left, really no opportunity to try and get him back in. Sign Us Please, though, just roaming around the edges, the outskirts of this ring, trying to find fight after fight. They want to take the lead away currently now in second place. Sign Us Please, moving their way through Banana. They actually might not be looking for fights. They might just be looking for rotations. You can see the scans and the and the pings going down. They need to make their way into the ring, and they have basically a death trap ahead of them in that empty zone leading down towards launch site. Absolute Monarchy, though, here on the eastern side, have a team below them, as Fat Fruit Ninja will be able to get that red evil for himself, but as he gets behind cover, he does get tagged. But it looks like Absolute Monarchy, they've got the flank set up, they've got the cross angles here. It's all about this bubble timing.
This is also a scary position too, because somebody could come up from right behind them. Luckily, they do have that portal from Sleeping Panda. He's going to be able to get out of that situation from that bombardment. They also have that jump tower there just to reposition themselves. It's just a matter of making sure that nobody's going to rotate as the circle is starting to close in right now. It's round 3, but they still have to find this fight as they're utilizing this cart for cover. It's just one of them, Fruit Ninja, though. Fat Fruit Ninja, he's won. Thankfully, though, Sir Lifty's right there to help with some suppressed fire, and they do win this fight as well as getting some of these deck boxes so that way they can replenish their resources. They're also hanging out to the edge of circle, so positioning wise they don't really have to worry too much. It's just a matter of trying to now get right back into the circle. Sign Us Please bringing this fight over out of circle too. They do have to make a lot longer of a rotation, but they have this team pinched, and you can see 2 red Evo shields there. So Sign Us Please taking a different angle as they're making their way over after Sync does manage to give in some of that intel after being able to land some of those shots.
Now, this means that they are full committing basically to this side. And I guess that's probably the better call here. Trying to push up the offices can be that much more difficult. Jump pad out for Synced, and he's going to go ahead and full send it on to this squad as he peeks the corner. Beautiful shot onto Shin and PC to finish him off. And I believe they're just down to 1 player left, quite possibly. Still over by Tree as Synced says, go ahead and charge up and take this last player out. They should be able to finish him off. Oe Senpai does go down. That's going to be 3 more kills for Sign Us Please. Now they need to start worrying about their rotate. Here comes a third party from BRS. They try to get involved. It looks like possibly an opportunity to try and flank them, but no. They have been spotted out, and now BRS are in a spot of trouble. They have to commit to a side here as the ring's going to close in 24 seconds, and the difficulty is they have to clear out that building unless they were the squad that were up there beforehand, but I can't imagine that they would have given that spot up. And so now they literally have an uphill battle here, try to make it into that spot. But they're turning around once again, going straight towards Sign Us Please, and this is a really bad sign for BRS.
Oh, less than 3 seconds now. Jamerson, they have to rotate, and they got to rotate now. The circle is going to hurt, but no matter what, they're forced to get into this fight. Talking about fighting, though, it's Sign Us Please. Wicked, he's out of his shield. Now he's losing a lot of health. Thankfully, Synced is right there to provide some of that suppressed fire, trying to keep all these other squads at bay. He has to take this fight, though. The Gibby's right in front of him. He gets out in time. Hopefully, they can get some shield swaps there, as there are some death boxes, and the Kraber in the hands of Reverium, who now could have line of sight over the back of circle. They're holding onto the edge, but so much fighting coming in, especially on the edge. They jump down on Nemero. He's not as lucky this time around. Menaces for Society are taking so much damage, and they can play around the shield. They can do it, but they can't. AM, they cleaned them up, but now it's their turn to meet them back in the lobby because they're taking so much damage, and it's BRS that go in for the third party.
How the hell did BRS get here? Well, I guess it's because Sign Us Please were occupied in this fight, and so they could not turn around to try and gatekeep any teams coming up from behind them. So BRS did make the right call, but it was just for the sake of Sign Us Please being way too busy dealing with 2 other squads. It was surprising. You don't really expect a full Valkyrie team to just drop down on you with the Valkyrie ults for that rotation, but that's what happens. Synced with a beautiful spray now, but the caustic gas keeps them at bay, keeps them tempered inside. You can see now Instinct was trying to set up the crossfire, but he has to back away. That was a full 3-man peek onto him, and somehow he took almost no damage throughout all of that. But sign us, please. Really waking up here for the last game now. Absolute Monarchy still just left with Sleepy Panda in the final 6 teams. They are the only team now playing damaged, as Sleepy Panda is going to rat this one out for as long as he can.
Yeah, I mean, he was unable to grab the banners between both of his teammates. He may want to play this a lot safer, but he does have the portal set up potentially to overcommit. I mean, they have a beacon that's inside the situation, and that's exactly what he's actually going to opt to do. But he took so much damage in the process, goes for the shield swap quickly, just the blue Evo, which is absolutely crucial here, but luckily does manage to take Sir Lifty's banner right before backing off. Unfortunately, it's going to be at most a 2-man squad here, unless he could try to retrieve that last banner while this fight is going to commence very shortly. Sinus, please, holding on to this building, looking a lot better in terms of positioning, unless this other squad that's right outside actually rotates right around them.
Yeah, they have a lot to worry about. So many points of entry into this building here, but that Valkyrie squad will just go ahead and back away. The bubble has been used, and Wicked throws down that defensive bombardment. Didn't really have to. But the timing is just unfortunate for him, as that bubble will keep that squad completely safe. Tempest even commits the Beast of the Hunt just in case. This is more about caution than anything else, and that squad will make it over towards the blue bins. Now it looks like there's one less doorway for them to really worry about. Sleepy Panda, in the meantime, does get finished off. Wicked cracked. That team not ready to push without their bubble, especially in this situation. Very close quarters, a lot of teams in the area looking for the third party. You do not want to grief this fight.
Yeah, that's why you see that they're playing so patiently here. Sinus, please, are just holding on to this building. That's the best option they could do, especially not give this building up to a team that is running that caustic. Those traps would be absolutely lethal, especially for this final circle. But they know that there's a team potentially right behind them too, so that's something to note. They do get that scan, and it's Team CHR that are by these crates instead. They have that caustic. It's going to be Crook who throws down the trap already by the door. They're getting in some poke damage coming in, but with that caustic ult that we saw put in so much work last game, that may trickle down to what's going to happen when the circle starts closing in less than 15 seconds.
Will it be back to back to back for CHR? They have a lot ahead of them. BRS is outside on the low ground. We've got Sinus, please, just to the north of them as well. The ultimate excels being popped now by CHR as Hambino is trying to get that defensive bombardment. It's 10% off for a minute. With the slow circle, he will actually have it. But the majority of this ring ending out in the middle of the open. The low ground team might actually have one of the best positions to try and dodge a lot of that damage without using any of their utility. We'll see, though. It's all about patience here as the slow ring starts closing in. Our final 5 full squads remaining. You can see Crook keeping that caustic Nox gas grenade out, throws it over at that door. The bubble is forced out as Crook took a lot of damage, but it looked like he needs to work on his throwing arm there, because it did miss out on that door, did not get in. Here comes the full send, but oh my goodness, the Prowler out from Wicked just completely melts Crook. CHR now down to just Ronnie, who's going to do his best. I don't even know, Mickey Mouse, it's something here as he takes to the skies and he backs away now, but he's just left by himself. We'll utilize this knockdown shield to try and stay alive, but it's all Sign Us, please, picking up so much, creating cover for themselves with that respawn beacon as well. And here's Team Skirt going in for the full send onto them. Wicked got the knock onto Hambino. They get one onto Z Davison helping. It's down to a 1v1. Oh no, they get finished off, but so do CHR. It's BRS versus Team Skirt here. Team Skirt behind their time. We didn't see much of them throughout this game. Science's goal, never mind. Big different squad coming up. Rizuki tries to go out for the peak. It's FMS that's on the other side of this one, and FMS will take the win here in game number 4.
What a chaotic end fight for our last game right there, Jamerson. I think we had like 5 squads that were actually in that last circle, and 2 of them were actually hanging out to the low ground. So the moment that you had seen Team CHR fall down, they, I believe, had lasted up to 3rd place, whereas we saw that 2 of those members had gone down rather early. So that was really good placement on them, but also the other 2 squads that came out of nowhere to hold that high ground was a disaster. It was super chaotic, but wow, just the fighting that we had seen at the very end there for FMS. Congratulations to them for taking that last game for our night.
Yeah, will it be enough for CHR, though, being able to finish there? Or did we see Sign Us Please sneak into the first place spot? Our admins are going to have to do some math, but when we get back, we'll be able to announce the winners of the night, the winners of the $700 first place prize right after this.
Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true sign trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. New memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Put the bars in the breaks. I'm talking one chance, now it's so good for the go. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
Cheez-It snapped. How's it taste? It's so thin, crispy, and cheesy. And I just want to keep eating it. And eating it. They love them.
Snapped. So good we may run out of cheese.
It's fruit refreshing, refreshingly sweet, but without sugar, 0 calorie treat. They're all our top flavored splash. It's fruit refreshing.
Welcome back, everybody. A chaotic and exciting finish to our final game of the day. My name is Jay, so I've been your host today. It's been a fun slate of games just for today, but they certainly delivered from the action front. Let's check out our final post-game stats here of the day here. And just a reminder, again, 2 more days of qualifier action. It is June 8th and 9th next week, so don't worry. The qualifiers continue, and these teams still have more work to do if they want to qualify and make that top 4 to get into Series E Season 3. But it was finicky, leading the way for the FMS squad here, grabbing our last victory of the day, so congratulations to them. But still, Nick Cage Match having a much better performance today than we saw from them on Tuesday. They were very disappointing, in my opinion, with their performance on the first day, but coming out swinging here today. 5 kills for Season 1 Wingman, gives him kill leader for the final game here. And then Synced showing up one more time, over 2,300 damage for Synced there on Sign Us Please. So it was definitely a fun finish. Very chaotic final circle there. We even saw Ronnie there for CHR trying to sneak into that top 5. Not sure how the points are going to shake out, but don't worry, our admins are sorting all that out. Now, after this break, Jamerson and Vicky Kitty will check our Mobile One leaderboard, hit our final high performance moment of the day, and prep you for next week's action. That's it for me, but we'll see you guys here in just a few.
I wasn't born in the spotlight. Nah. Had to grind and shine like a star on a hot night. And something about the struggle now resides in my muscles. And every trial and trouble helped to hang my hustle. Real rock stars don't chase the spotlight. It chases them.
Imagine you love frosting and filling.
I do love frosting and filling.
Oh, well, imagine if there was a way to enjoy that delicious goodness anywhere, anytime, out of the toaster, out of the box, out of one of those baggy thingies, with nothing but a thin layer of foil between you and...
Pasta.
Yes, Curtis. This is a commercial about pasta.
I love it.
Frosting and filling for your pasta.
I like pesto.
All right, welcome back, guys. That was the conclusion of day 2 of qualifiers here for season 3 of SeriesE, and we had some great matches today, Vicky.
Yeah, I was really excited to see a lot of these other teams come out in full force. Despite not being present for our first day of qualifiers earlier this week on Tuesday, they still saw a lot of success coming out today, despite only having 4 games here too, Jamerson. So that put up a lot of pressure onto our teams.
Yeah, definitely for Sign Us, Please. It was less of a plead and more of a demand with how they were able to finish off the day. Let's see if they were able to take the first place position, though. Taking a look at the Mobile One leaderboard, we knew that they were high up in the standings, and they did it! Oh my goodness! By 1 point, Sign Us, Please win out the day. They'll win $700. CHR will take home 300. But what a great first day for Sign Us, Please. Like you said, Vicky, we have to remember, they missed out on the first day. They missed out on 6 games worth of points. But this is a huge statement for them going into next week's matches.
Jamerson, I'm appalled. This is like a $400 money match between first place and second place, and the one thing making a barrier between CHR and Sign Us, Please is 1 point. I absolutely cannot believe what I'm seeing right now. Why don't we take a look at the Mobile One moment for the day, though, for the match rather, and a high performance moment going into Team Skirt. It's going to be helping who's dancing around the shield, but can he last long enough here when this chaos just blew up for this final circle, meeting 5 of these last squads here for that last circle, and the Gibby bombardment to clean things up.
Importantly there, Wicked survives. He gets the knocks. He finishes off that squad. That gives them the extra placement. That gives them the extra kills. That's what put them over the top here in the Mobile One high performance moment to secure first place. So I'm glad that we were able to take a look at that, because that's what it all came down to. That play right there was the difference between $700 and $300 on the day.
I can't believe it. And those are the micro moments that you really need to pay attention to. I love the way that we got that replay to see that more thoroughly. Just overall, though, that first place spot, that 1 point difference, Jamerson, I think this is such a great way to start off how the qualifiers are going to be making a tone for the rest of these last 2 games that we're going to be seeing from the qualifiers. And again, these are the teams that are competing for the top 4 spots, rather, to get into Season 3 and to sit comfortably into competing against our other squad mates that have been able to make their way over to the Season 3 spot and sit there all comfortably. But overall, Sign Us, Please, first place spot for the night, 52 points, and second place, the Obey crew that we're so used to seeing. CHR just hanging out to 51 points in that 1 point difference that really solidified them in that second place spot.
Yeah, and for our other squads that had the lead going into today now, it is getting cut into. Overall, I believe teams like XOXO were sitting around 50 points overall, but today they ended up with like an additional 25. So, Sign Us, Please, definitely already making a name for themselves in the qualifiers here. Definitely putting themselves in one of the top positions overall. We'll find out, though, later on. Our matches will continue on Tuesday. We'll be back once again another 4 matches. It's all coming down to the final 8 games, the final 2 days of qualifiers next week. We have 4 spots on the line. You don't want to miss any of it. So make sure you're following us on all of our socials. Make sure you're subbed to the channel as well here on Twitch at Esports Arena to enter for, of course, our awesome game shows that will be taking place pre-game before Series E Season 3. And make sure, of course, you're watching champs that are taking place this weekend. NA will be starting up once again tomorrow as well. So there's plenty of Apex Legends to go around. You don't want to miss any of it, but that's going to do it for us. So for Vicky, myself, Esports Arena, and all of our partners, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week. Have a great weekend.